/scrimcast between Squad 9 Alpha and Zul'jin Distillery. Looks like everyone is ready. We're going to get underway here right away into Infernal Shrines. And start. Alrighty, so we're not doing map bans, just map picks. Keep things simple. Squad 9 Alpha took first map pick. Zul'jin Distillery, of course, getting first pick, first ban here on Infernal Shrines. We'll see if the teams look to mix it up tonight. I may do something fun some other time wherein like I pick the maps, so it's sort of like a blind pick for the teams. And but I'm not doing that tonight. Maybe some other time. Come up with some sort of fun practice rules or something. These teams have never played each other before, as far as I know. They are in different divisions, of course, Squad 9 Alpha being C West and Zul'jin D East. Zul'jin does regularly scrim Church of Murky and maybe some other C teams, so despite being a cross-division matchup, I expect it to be reasonably competitive here. First ban Diablo from Zul'jin Distillery. Huh. I don't even think Squad 9 plays Diablo that I can really think of. Or at least I haven't seen them play it recently. I'd say the reverse. Zul'jin used to play a lot of Diablo, but not recently. Nonetheless, it is a good map for Diablo. It can be really annoying on the rotations, mid-bottom, to disrupt them or try and gank you, so don't mind it, though I kind of would have expected maybe a more traditional Yrel or Blaze or Sonya ban even on this map, given how strong they can be over the point. Kilthos ban. But I believe these teams did scout each other, or even maybe gave scouting info to each other, I kind of forget. So it's possible they're just doing some target bans here. And Squad 9 Alpha, though, is playing with technically two sub-players. One sub-player and then just a friend. Some players going to be late for them. Maybe they'll show up later. I like the Azmodan ban in the Rainer. Kill Diablo, all strong picks. Makes a lot of sense. We will see what Zul'jin wants to grab here. Something safe would be an offlaner, or they just want to rip the Alex so the enemy doesn't get it. There's the Yrel. Makes sense. Super strong. Kind of surprised that made it through the bans, frankly. Though, you know, you gotta pick your poison. These days, there's only so many heroes you can ban, even with 3 bans apiece. I might expect something like Johanna, ETC, or Garrosh opener. Oh, Zul'jin's not here, so I'm not even sure who's main tanking then. TBH. Gul'dan, Deckard. I like the Deckard pickup. Getting Gul'dan here is maybe a titch greedy on the opener. No defense yet, just support and offense. But Gul'dan, of course, is a pretty self-reliant mage with his tap, life drain, and Horrify and such, so he won't be too worried about dive. Horrify can always counter it when used properly. Grimmy and Murden, this is a really solid trio here. All 3 heroes have mobility skills, or leap skills essentially, so they can jump in, jump out together. Especially Yrel or Murden opens, smacks a target around, Greymane jumps in along with the other, tries to finish him off with whatever further backline damage or support they'll be going with. Whitemane ban, I think that's actually pretty smart, considering the aggressive nature of Zul'jin's draft already. They do like their dive, or divey, which I think is also the right call against this Deckard Gul'dan showing here. You can't really outpoke these heroes. You'd need to burst somebody, because they're both sustain heal, or sustain damage. Even Gul'dan's own self-healing is sustain, so makes sense. This is the main tank ban, indeed. There's the Johanna, which I personally think they should have opened with in the duo, if they were gonna, or opened with a main tank. It's one of Johanna's better maps, possibly her best map, if she has a best map. but there's still plenty of other tank options in the pool. Only 2 warriors here banned out, so Squad 9 should be able to find something they like. I'm not really sure what it is. There's the Blaze, there's the ATC, okay. I like the Blaze a lot. Bunker will be a big deal here, though there's no like big AoE damage or burst damage yet. There's just single target stuff. Of course, Urel can multi-smack people, but if they, like for example, a Jaina here, or a Li Ming or something from Zul'jin, could be pretty scary, and ATC could be kind of papery, so under heavy burst fire he doesn't hold up well, so here's where like the Blaze / Blaze Bunker will come in to help things out. Interesting. I'm not sure I agree with the Tychus. They don't really need it. They went like Murden, Urel. Tychus is just another auto attacker, like Greymane essentially. Of course, later on he can get Odin and such, which is really nice for the point. It's like the next best thing to Alex Strauss's Dragon Queen for bullying objectives, but Stukov, you know, he can just drop Lurking Arms and whatever. I don't like this Tychus. I think it's the wrong pick. Maybe they're just trying something new, which is fine. I like Tychus a lot. He has good wave clear, he's good in rotations, he's good at, you know, hitting a single target. And this could work. Like, if ETC or Blaze get out of position, or the Murden or Urel can control the targets well enough with like body blocks and knockbacks, stun slow, etc., Tychus and Greymane can just munch that single target. But they didn't give themselves any true AoE power, and this is what concerns me, because they're fighting Deckard, massive, you know, AoE CC. Gul'dan also, again, a lot of, you know, Horrify, AoE ult. ETC with, I don't expect him to go Mosh Pit, considering the amount of cancels, but you never know, he might just rip it anyway. Cassia, the new Valkyrie, or not new, non-bugged Valkyrie is actually decent now. So I like both drafts, but I think the ease of the onus of execution is more on Zul'jin in terms of their win condition, because they didn't give themselves a mage or a mage style character to like sort of round out this draft in terms of flexibility. They're basically all in on Tychus and Greymane hitting somebody, and that has to work. And we'll see. This Cassia is a pretty interesting counter pick as well, considering she can blind, which will further reduce the possibility of things going well. But there are some squishy heroes on the side of Zul'jin Distillery, and there's a pretty high defense on the side of, squishy heroes on the side of Squad 9 Alpha. And some pretty high defense for Zul'jin Distillery. So these fights, I'm really interested to see how both teams pick these fights as the game goes on. But to introduce the teams, or Luna on Deckard Cain, Jungle Gem on ETC, Ogle the Great on the Cassia, Jay, just calling him Jay, on the Gul'dan, and who am I missing? MJ Doom on the Blaze. For Zul'jin Distillery, we have Befresh on Greymane, Lettuce on the Stukov, DeWitt on the Murdered, and Gauchon on the Tychus, Cowboy Kyle on... Wait, who is he on? Can't read. He's on the Urel. So who might have the better 4-man? I'd actually probably give that over to Zul'jin Distillery earlier. Not necessarily better, but in terms of what could be more aggressive easily, safely. Because with the Blaze top, they're missing a lot of their defensive power. Cassia won't be in any trouble, but like ETC or Gul'dan or Deckard could be in trouble if they get jumped. You know, some control, some silence. Jungle Gem might just go down here. Gets very low, about 300 HP. Blaze, however, is already top, so Zul'jin's missing some soak. They're going to want to get up here ASAP with their Urel. They are, as you can see, they missed a wave, but Kappa Kyle needs to get over here. Alright, he's getting range. I would expect Zul'jin to bully this. Oh dear, Ogle may have stepped up way too far. But they... Tychus goes in for the kill and he gets it. First blood. Yeah, Cassie was up way too far alone. No, like, she doesn't wave clear that well unless maybe... Eventually she can. She'd go Q build. I happen to like this build on her. But she's just sitting out there alone in lane. You can't do that versus this kind of team where they have heavy mobility. 4 to 5 of these heroes have heavy mobility. Even Tychus has a dash and a like grenade for reposition. Greymane already on the camp. I like this. This is also a little bit of the weakness of this 4-man, which I didn't notice till now, is there's no one hero who can camp well, at least camp quickly. And that's what I mean by well. Someone like Blaze could do it later, Gul'dan could do it later, but they do it slowly. And this is the power of the Grey Mane. He can do all the camps solo, as long as he can snowball this pressure. I don't like this. I would have preferred to see Zul'jin stay bottom. Clear this, force the rotation middle, and then they grab bottom camp, and just snowball this, and then eventually Grey Mane grabs Bruiser just for the objective. Or maybe after the first objective, depending on how you want to do things. But I've been talking a lot about what I'd like to see from Zul'jin, and here they just smack down a Portal EDC. That squishiness factor I was talking about coming into play here. He's trying to get away, but there's too much lockdown, too much slow. I think that was a really nice Stukov slow, I believe. It helps secure that. Or Luna. Gonna go down. So this isn't really what you want. Your main tank's dead, and they're posturing over camps. Jay here on Gul'dan, gonna go down. I was concerned about Squad 9's ability to handle this dive, and that's proving true. So let's consider how they can deal with this. You know, they're down 4 deaths. You know, they're down about a level as a result at this point. They just need to stop splitting up like this. They've been getting caught out alone. This is how these deaths are occurring. Cassia was bottom, ETC was mid, maybe out a little too far alone. Gul'dan and Deckard were here, well, they were together, but they're squishies with no peel. That's alone for all intents and purposes. So Blaze also needs to be here. You can do this, spam your CC, spam your damage. There's a pretty solid poke on Ogle and Jay. This Gul'dan. Fell Flame and the Lightning of Cassia. Between the two, it's quite a bit of damage spam, so. They're gonna have to respect the silence minigun. Down goes Blaze, just gets munched. Jungle Gym has the power slide out. But Immortal's already here. For Zul'jin, snowballing here. 5 kills up, first Immortal. So Blaze is dead. I would like to see him just go top right away for the soak. We already see Yrel peeling off to double soak. Honestly, I don't even know if Grey Mane has to be here off this first Immortal. I might even rather see him just go top for Bruiser, but he is some of their best siege damage. But this Immortal's too low for them to really get anything more. Maybe well. Like, they hit well right now. They could clean it up, but it looks like they're gonna miss out on that opportunity, or they're just trying to get as much fort damage as possible. Slightly the wrong call for Zul'jin. Squad 9 defended properly. If Zul'jin was hanging around this long, they should have taken the well. And as you can see now, they want this camp, which they could have done with the Grey Mane while the other 3 pushed with the Immortal, then backed off. So this could get contested. I mean, not the most likely, but you're putting yourself in a position to contest, which is a little unideal. And Ogle's just going in here. Jungle Gym, though, just lack of tank protection here. This is why I didn't like. This is why the Johanna would have been amazing this game. Blinds as well. They could double down on the blinds. Of course, they didn't know that up front. The first pick was Yrel, and they opened with the Deckard Gul'dan. But just the Gul'dan's too greedy. You can flex a different mage pick. You should secure your like high priority tank pick in a draft. Almost always. There's no real reason not to. There's less flexibility there. As we can see here, it's hurting. Squad 9 Alpha. Like, this would be, a lot of these engages would be going quite differently if they had a Johanna over an ETC. The old bush gank got a spell check, boys. Nice spell check by Ogle. It may not be enough to save his life, especially with that silence. ETC knockback. He's not peeling though. He gets a fat power slide. But that will, he's gonna die for it. I'm not sure he needed to power slide there. Honestly, I think the W plus body blocks could have been enough, but nonetheless, valiant play by Jungle Gym there, saving his teammate like a good main tank. So 10s are incoming. Squad 9 Alpha needs to be doing damage control here at this point. They should be avoiding fights. They should be taking safe rotations and trying to get level 10. They're already going to have to give up the next objective. You know, they're level and a half behind. This bottom fort's dead. They just shouldn't be here if Zul'jin wants to flex them with these 10s. Like, Blaze not being top lane right now is a pretty big no-no. I mean, maybe you're trying to gank this Grey Mane, but that's not really the play. I mean, comeback, like, quote-unquote comeback kills are nice. but it's not really what you want to be looking for right now. Although I'd say Greymane's a little bit in no man's land. It's like 1v4 here. You also should watch out for that top. So they had to give the fort bottom. I don't think it was necessarily the best use of their time, sort of on either team. Or fully. That was a bad statement. I just meant they could have split heroes a little differently. Take a peek at talents. Actually, like Crossfire if you're good at landing it. Block party. Okay, that's actually pretty smart this game. Here's the Greymane on the Bruiser camp I mentioned earlier. Perfect Storm on Mara seems a little greedy, but it's fine. Concussion grenade, interesting. Ogle here, getting... At least he's peeling. This Gul'dan though is... Okay, they have their 10s. They're fine. But let's see if they can contest this objective. They're going to be pretty late to it. Cocktail build at 7 for Greymane, interesting. Yeah, weighted pustule. Stuka's been good with those. Alright, let's see what Squad 9 Alpha can do with their ults. ETC is still deciding. I really don't think Mosh puts the play. Bit of a missed opportunity here. Ogle could have been gone on with more heroes. That was a essentially a free kill, but Zul'jin just sitting on the point. A couple of Kyles trying to zone here. Oh, they're just ripping the dance. Stuka have insta-silences though. There's also a Lornado. Fat Horrify comes out, but it's on 2 tanks. Tychus is on the run. A bunch of people are on the run. Star is doing a really good job with these silences. Here comes the Odin. I actually would have liked to see that a lot sooner, but better late than never. And this Gul'dan's probably going to die. He just got slowed. Down he goes. Bada bing, bada boom. This is what I mentioned. I mean, I may have criticized him for the mage pick, or not picking a mage, but this Tychus is doing a lot of work, honestly. Bunker? Oh yeah, Bunker was used there already, so... Let's look at some damage numbers. Cassia always tends to get high damage, especially with this build. The Thunderstroke build. Zul'jin should definitely just keep snowballing their lead to 13. I don't think Greymane shouldn't have been up here. This is too greedy. He's their one of the main siege tools outside of Tychus and Odin. Odin was already used. Yubral could have cleaned up top just fine on her own. Greymane should have been here sooner. Squad 9 has to defend this within reason. They have a Lornado. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just used it to shove them away. We did see a ball lightning go off, but this isn't the end of it, and I think Ogle might just die. Indeed he will, to Greymane. Gul'dan, or if I attempted to be used way too late, Deckard also used Lornado also too late. This is the problem. I mean, Squad 9 Alpha is playing with a couple sub-players, so clearly there's some, you know, synergy plan issues here. In addition to not having the strongest draft versus this aggro, but just decisions like this need to be, should be, how do you say, more obvious. You can't defend the fort, and as soon as, you know, they're just going to jump you and kill you. So they burn a few ults trying to defend, but they die anyway, fort dies anyway, they're just getting further behind. So you need to consider, any team needs to consider, you know, what they can give up, right? And what you have to give up, not just what you need to. Because it's a zero value play trying to defend this fort, really, that aggressively. You can defend it a lot more safely, stay way back, but realistically even the range damage is actually pretty short range, right? Gul'dan and Cassia. Cassia's being a little too aggressive, I'd say. She hasn't died the most, but she's been sort of the first to die in a lot of these fights, or the first to be zoned. She's just playing a little too far out. Obviously, her range is, what, 4.5 or something. This is a flank here. They need to watch out. Again, no blaze. Just play a little more conservatively with the Q poke. Even with it, like, she's surviving decently with her armor. They've gone for the bait. Feels bad, man. They do have Horrify and Bunker, though, so we'll see what they can get done. Gul'dan does not manage to get the Horrify off in time, though, and does get silenced. Fat Mosh Pit silenced right away, though, or Luna in a lot of trouble. Lornado was out, but Tychus will Odin here. We might go down. No, he gets the last second heal by Stukov. Cassia cannot finish him off. He was down to around 200 HP. 3 members dead for Squad 9 Alpha. Chasing ETC, really they should just push this keep or grab Bruiser and then push. The better play is push this, but they chase this a little too far. And since they chased all the way up here, it makes more sense to grab the Bruiser at this point than run all the way down here. Because they can take this and then just run mid anyway. Bottom's getting pressured a little bit. Squad and Alpha just need to understand, well, like any team, when you're fighting a team like this, they're going to try and, like, they're going to flank you. They're going to jump you. Any chance they have or you give them with your positioning, this kind of draft, this is how they win. They're just snowballing the engages, right? You know, and they just waited here, and they see how patient they were. They waited and waited and waited. Because you were here, Squad 9 was here, this was, they could just back off. But then they step past the ruined fort to engage the creep wave, and boom, there's your opening. So, in that, you know, they're off map for that long, you have to suspect something. You can't just say like, oh, where are they? You know, you need to be like, well, they're probably trying to gank us, let's GTFO, you know. Greymean isn't here, but neither is Gul'dan, so this is a decent engage for Squad 9, or would have been if Gul'dan was here for 5v4, but he was middle. Clearing, which is fine, but they're down to almost 3 levels. It's tough. It's going to be hard. They need to zone with either Lornado and Horrify, try and get a kill in that time frame, then zone with one of the other skills, and then somewhere in there use these other abilities. I think stage dive, like taking Moshpit was really a mistake. There's so many easy cancels. Murden can cancel, Tychus can cancel, Stukov can cancel. Lornado came out, I feel like that was maybe a miscast, but no big deal. It'll be up roughly by the time this hits keep. I don't really like this play though, by all 5 of them. I think you go and shove middle bottom, although middle carefully because they can come down and gank you. Try and push your way towards 16, at least you'd be like 15 and a quarter, 15 and a half by now, by double soaking the other lanes. They do need to be careful the moment this gate goes down. Zul'jin may just dive them, especially if they get rooted. Seems like they're not going to opt for that, though there's a really nice Horrify under keep, and a bunker. Can Squad 9 do it? Let's see, Lornado came out, a little unfortunate miss. ETC goes down, there's a really nice Horrify. They just don't really have the damage. They have damage, but it's a lot of sustained damage, and as I mentioned before, Kyle though may just be the first blood for Squad 9. He jumps for now, gets a heal. Hold does not pursue. That was good. Squad 9 Alpha needs to play like this. They have a shot at coming back in the game. They defended their keep really nicely. They lost just the DC, which at this point is pretty darn good, considering the level disparity, kill disparity, map control, etc. So that was a really nice defense. I like how they did it. They can do more of that. They nearly got a kill as well. If they can play more coordinated like this, ideally they could have done this more from the beginning, or at least like 10 minutes ago. They probably wouldn't really be in this position, but such is life. You're getting used to your draft and or playing with players you don't play with too often. That's, you know, what often can happen. So things don't look great, but they're still very much in this game. They haven't lost a keep yet. Though that being said, every lane is opened. Oh, okay, bottom isn't opened. So any like next big fight won by Zul'jin Distillery is liable to get a keep. Or Luna might just die here way too far out in front. Murden actually took the extended dwarf range just to get in here. That's a really sick Horrify and really nice ball lightning as well. There's a mosh pit, insta cancel by Let Us Star. ETC goes down and Cassia. Or Luna may just go down to the Green Main. Nope, does not. Gul'dan, I'm not even sure how we got there, but there he is. MJ should have been running at this point. This is just game. Feeding away this many kills. I don't think they had to lose this many. Go Squad 9 Alpha Zaldreth. Well, my friend, unfortunately, they're doing too well without you. Which isn't, I'm not throwing shade at any player, it's just I know how it goes. Even playing with one player, like a sub, can throw you off, what to speak of 2? Like, that's like major disruption, so I don't blame Squad 9 Alpha for having some like synergy issues in this game. Like, there's definitely a lot of leeway there. This should be core. There's no way to defend this. They just suicide it. And it's over. Blistering performance by Zoljan Distillery, though, taking a flawless victory here. GG, well played indeed. Have a quick peek at the summary screen, the builds. Haha, yeah, sad day. A little sad, a little sad. Clean performance by Zoljan. They didn't really give any openings. Unfortunately, Squad and Alpha gave too many openings with their positioning, and that's what led to most of these kills. Someone was pretty much always out of position, either in a lane alone, or too far forward in a fight, or on the retreat, squishies in the back, like just sort of over and over. And there was a lot of punishment on the positioning. But I mean, look at these DPS numbers, right? Cassie and Gul'dan like way out DPS'd, like almost double of these guys, right? But then you look at the healing, and this is where the numbers make it up. What, 50k more healing? And again, yeah, we have probably 50k more damage or something. So this is largely negating. MVP led a star. He was being so patient with these silences to like cancel mosh pit and stuff like that. And some really clutch healing, obviously. But now we'll go talk to the team. So pop over to this screen. Team talk. We are going to. Oh well, they're not here. Maybe they're talking. We will see. We will see. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
That was pitiful and disgusting.
Is the other peeps coming?
Yeah, let me invite them back.
I just invited her.
Hey, Soldrith.
Hey.
There we go. Oh yeah, Jungle Gym. I need to give Jungle Gym your tag though. Rolls. Squad 9 Alpha. There. Now Jungle Gym can get in here if he wants. Do we? Okay, we have everyone. I think. Question mark? No. Who are we missing? Ogle.
Yeah.
Yes. Ogle.
Ogle. Ogle. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say that. Hey, there's Ogle. Ogle the
Ah.
Yeah, my first comment was going to be obviously a tough game, but when you're playing with one or two like sub slash friends or whatever you don't normally play with, things are bound to be sort of awkward and clunky, unless maybe you just play together all the time anyway. But I don't think that's true. So I would naturally expect there to be some, issues with maybe even the draft or the team fights or what have you. And clearly there was. But in the spirit of the coaching, we're going to spend a few minutes on it and then, keep moving because we still have more games to play. But I think starting with the draft, you definitely should have opened with a tank, something like the Johanna in your first rotation. Gul'dan's good, but he's not that high priority on the map. You could really take any mage on that map and have a good performance. And as the draft goes on, it's likely they're either going to take or ban these kinds of heroes, like the Murden, like the Johanna, etc. So when you open with like a Deckard Gul'dan, it's sustained healing and sustained damage, but it's very vulnerable, right? Both heroes are pretty immobile. They're rather squishy, even though they both have these like high CC mechanisms, Horrify and Lornado and Sleep and all this stuff. But unless you time everything perfectly, you're going to get jumped and killed anyway. So, which means when you're planning on picking that kind of backline, you need the appropriately strong front line, and ETC is not it. ETC is squishy. ETC is not particularly awesome versus significant amounts of aggro dive on his own. Blaze was like, you guys are doing your best up front, but there's only so much you can do. So, yeah, pick a different warrior next time, either earlier or even at that. I think ETC was 4th pick. Like, it's too squishy. Pick something else. I don't know what people can play. Even an Arthas or something would have been pretty cool. Just something tankier. Anyway, and then in the game, think about like I think your draft was fine, even though it had some issues. But then once you're in the game, consider when the enemy drafts that level of mobility and jump, their main goal is to just run at you. So you want to try and minimize the opportunities you're giving them to jump you, right? And that was sort of the issue all game, is you were giving them a lot of opportunities to jump you. People are, out too far in lanes. People are sort of split up around the map, without somebody maybe anchoring the siege camp, for example. 2 squishies are on it, Gul'dan, Deckard. They invade, both of them die. Stuff like that, you got to... That's the main win condition. They're just going to keep running at you over and over and over. So you need to find ways to not let them do that, or don't put yourself in a position to get murdered, as within reason, of course. But that even happened a little bit in team fights. Deckard was a little too far up once. Cassie was up too far a lot, even though, you guys got crazy damage in, if you saw the results screen. Cassie had, double the damage of anyone on the enemy team. Gul'dan had, I don't know, 50% more. So he had no issues dealing the damage, but the defense was high enough where the sustain didn't really, Deckard did, I think, Stukov did something like 50k more healing, which isn't a knock on the Deckard, it's just the nature of the match. There wasn't enough time for Deckard to do the kind of healing numbers he normally gets. The fights weren't long enough. So that's not Aura's fault. It's just the way the match went. No, it isn't. I'm just pointing it out that Deckard wants to take longer sustained fights to really grind out, his value. And when the fights are over and someone's dying in the first 5 or 10 seconds and then you're running away or whatever, you're not going to see the value. So mostly think about that. Secure maybe a stronger duo up front, something that's less susceptible, and in the game try and consider your matchup and position accordingly. In this case, position a lot more safely, more together, make sure people are anchoring vents and bushes. I did see a really nice spell check by the Cassia, but they jumped to anyway. Oh, I mean, ETC died, because he saved the Cassia, but still, that was really smart. You didn't just face check the bush and die, you at least spell checked it. It just so happened there was 4 people in the bush, so it feels bad. But no, I know you guys can be more coherent and play really well and everything, so don't stress too much about you're playing with some sub players, but clean up the draft a little, clean up the positioning a little, and you'll give yourselves, a fighting chance in the game, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to Zul'jin in a minute, and then we'll start in game 2. They're going to pick the map, so I guess I will just make the lobby and invite you guys as soon as we're ready.
Okay.
Good luck, have fun.
All right.
Ayo.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
GG's, guys. Pretty blistering performance, I gotta say. Flawless victory. 19-0 and 4 levels up. Pretty sick. Not gonna lie. I was mildly dubious about this Tychus pick at first, but it turned out to be super awesome, so I think everyone played really well. My only criticism, and it's very nominal, if you even want to call it criticism, is that I think Greymane could have split off a little bit more a few times for the camps, when you're all pushing bottom. I think Greymane could have just started doing the camp, but then you waited to after the Punisher was dead, then backed off, then took the camp, which you managed to do anyway, but they were contesting it, and you don't really want to... If your plan is to get the camp either way, probably not have a big team fight over it, but you stayed long enough pushing the bottom Punisher, again, small stuff, you sort of hovered, sort of ran past the fort a little, and ran away. And that time it said target their well. Just kill the well and leave. Don't worry about the fort damage. You'll kill it later. You've already opened it up. Removing well taps is really important in any lane. So when you can kill wells, little note there. Don't worry too much about the fort. You've already opened up the walls and the gate, done some damage. Kill the well and then worry about the fort later. Anything else?
I'll have to take a look at that.
Just that kind of that sort of thing. And Greymane probably could have peeled off once or twice sooner for that same reason. Tychus sieges decently, and you're just slow pushing. And when you draft this Greymane, when you took a lot of camps with him, the main goal is to team does things such as pushes with objectives or creates havoc, while Greymane floods the map with mercenaries, and then you have multiple options at that point. You push to the mercenaries, you gank someone defending the mercenaries, you go somewhere else and do some other thing. So focus on that dual, basically abuse it, because you have Urel as well who can also help control the map. So Greymane does, of course, siege well, but unless they were a little sloppy giving you a lot of openings, a more disciplined team would have backed off a little bit, which meant you wouldn't have gotten quite as much value in these pushes because you wouldn't be like snowballing all these kills. I'm not saying you wouldn't have gotten any kills, just maybe a few less. So, in which case, having your gray main just peel off and be wee camp, 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 camp. Then as soon as the push is over, they're still under pressure, right? The push is the protector, Punisher's over, but then whoops, there's 1, 2, 3, mercenary camps in our lanes. Yikes! Now I have to deal with those too. So you just keep choking them out if you can keep up that. And then of course, ideally, you time it so Greymane can rejoin the team, and then you go do whatever you want to do as well. Something like that. It's really my only advice. I think everyone played really well. Really just smart ability use and coordination by everyone. It was impressive to see, so keep it up.
Thanks.
MVP to Stukov, by the way.
Thank you very much.
That's what we said.
He was badass on like the silences and the heals. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, one question, go ahead.
Out of feeling.
Yeah, so how would you weigh, like with what you were just saying with Greymane and splitting for camps, how would you weigh Greymane's sieging potential versus his utility with taking camps in those situations?
Well,
Is it better?
I should have. Yeah, that's a great question because I didn't clarify. I would focus on that mostly pre-level 10, or max up to like 13. Because come like the true mid game, you usually want him with you more, or if there is notable downtime, you can run and do something. But these like quick little Khazar camp steals usually are like more of a pre-10 thing, in terms of what I'm talking about. In terms of because team fights aren't going to be that crazy, right? There's no level 10s yet. People aren't, you're not going to get horrified, and you might go for a kill, and then there's a bunker, right? Like, Greymane, it's not that Greymane isn't needed, but he's kind of not needed, you know what I mean? Pre-10. For
Right.
these fights. You already had the Tychus minigun, the Murden control, Urel jumping on people, Deckard slowing and silencing. Like, everyone did a really good job, but his you're not really losing any value by peeling him off and focusing a little more on camps, slightly. And you did focus a lot on camps, so it's just this like tiny thing, so basically that. Just consider like how much do we really need him? Can we still poke and skirmish and harass without him? And the answer for the most part tends to be yes. And up into a point. Then level 10's hit and it's like, oh okay, let's make sure we're all here, or we're not picking a major fight, because then what if you pick a fight, people get horrified, maybe you almost get a kill, don't get the kill, they turn it around and if only your Greymane was here. So you don't want to do that either. So you just have to balance, you just have to make a read. But it's sort of easy to do like pre-10, focus a little more on that. Post-10, you can worry more about fighting first and like camping later, on average, with this kind of draft anyway, because you picked a very fighty draft. And your majority win condition was fighting. But since you had this Greymane, it gives you the camp abuse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that helps a lot. Thank you.
Yep.
No, no problem. You guys get to pick the map, by the way. So, what map? Squad 9 will get first pick. Hero pick, ban.
I think Tomb.
Boom, yeah.
Tomb in the spot of Queen.
Yeah. That'd be good practice.
Sure. Yeah, they are also playing with 2 sub players, so
Right.
that's
Right, yeah,
never
we noticed
easy.
that.
That's the first thing I said to them, and it's true. It's not easy. So,
Yep.
all right, gents. We'll see you for game 2. Good luck, have fun.
Thanks.
Alrighty, we are gonna go back to the wait screen, update the score. Get everyone joining in here. And Aura, invite. Team 1. Should probably update my score screen to be more sensible. Kind of looks like, I don't know, it could be construed as Zul'jin just took a loss or something, like they're 0-1. We'll see, but for now it means they've won a game. Alrighty, looks like teams are ready for round 2. Let's go. Alrighty. Zoldrith has returned, so Squad 9 have their main tank back. Props to Jungle Jim, though, for playing well. He made some pretty nice saves last game, did his best on that ETC. Two with the Spider Queen is Zoldan Distillery's pick, which of course means Squad 9 Alpha get first pick. I was just talking about last game about Gul'dan sort of being lower priority, and this is a map, for example, where I would say he's higher priority, but I still wouldn't open with him on a double pick. You could open with him on a single if you really wanted, but again, realistically, tanks and supports tend to be higher priority. There's a narrower range of which ones are just easier to use, that have higher flexibility. Less supports and less tanks, so if the enemy starts banning and picking them, leaves you with much fewer options. Whereas in the assassin pool, unless you're going for some very, very specific draft that like needs XYZ skill or wombo combo or something, there's a lot more flexibility. Like, you need an AoE mage, like, okay, you can get Kale, you could get Jaina, you could go Azabanan, you could go Junkrat. Junkrat's not a mage, but you need AoE damage, like ranged AoE damage. You know, there's a lot of options. Those are just a few of them, so it's easier again. I mean, it's a little different. You know, maybe you want to open with a hero. I'm not saying never open with support assassin. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, you know, you have to open with different ones if you're going to. That's all. You know, opening support's really common. And it's easier to save like an offlane or damage pick for later, usually. Of course, like Blaze Urel are always safe offlane picks these days, since sort of forever. So that's fine, and we saw last game Zul'jin just opened with a Urel. Doesn't reveal anything, just means, hey, there's a Urel in the game. But when you open to like this Deckard Gul'dan, it leaves you too vulnerable and encourages the team to dive you, for example, and Zul'jin did. They just went full dive and heavily punished that, so. Muradin banned, Zul'jin banned the Mura. They themselves played it very well last game. Interesting. And you can see how teams value things differently. Zul'jin heavily focusing on tank bans. Last game also banned 2 tanks. Squad 9 Alpha really don't want to deal with Raynor. He was banned second phase last game, or second ban. Here he's first Asmo. I think these bans are just reversed. I think last game it was Asmo, Raynor. Garrosh, first pick. I like it. I like it a lot. This is what I'd rather see in the draft opening. Something more threatening on the front line. It doesn't have to be your main tank, but again, like a Urel. She's really annoying off laner, high defense, high utility, gives you flexibility. Doesn't give away your Garrosh. Doesn't give away your draft, but it does tell Zul'jin how Squad 9 want to engage. But that's fine. Tomb's a small map. There's lots of opportunities to flank and get throws and stuns and taunts. So here we have a Johanna Gul'dan opening. This I don't mind. And this is also context specific. Tomb is all about the wave clear. Infernal Shrines is pretty wave clear heavy. It's also a 4-man rotation map. But Tomb's even more so, because you need to rotate 4 gems as well. So it's not just about the lane pressure or the XP, it's also actually actively getting you objective, well, I don't want to say points, but pieces, I guess, in this case. So, Deckard Kale, this is a lot smoother on the draft. Johanna Gul'dan's fine. It doesn't mean they might get a little support choked here. XSG Squad 9 last ban in support, but they shouldn't be too chuffed about this. But, you know, what I talked about, Gul'dan a little more higher priority on this map specifically. You can't substitute another mage, but the cooldowns are a lot higher, like the Jaina or like the Kale. Well, Kale's cooldowns are pretty low. Blaze ban, I think is smart. It was pretty well played last game by Doom. Did his best. Had some good bunkers, some solid stuns and slows. Held his lane against Urel and everything. So Blaze would be pretty annoying to fight here, especially since they're probably going to add, you know, some sort of burst damage to their lineup after this Gul'dan, I suspect anyway. White main ban, pretty smart. There was a support ban. So same bans actually for Squad 9 Alpha, just slightly different order. But again, white mains makes sense. A lot of like sustained heal aggro out of her when done properly, and Johanna plus +1 melee can facilitate that with this Gul'dan pressure. Squad and Alpha are going to need... Yorel's still open, by the way. You suspect... Okay, there's a Leo. Okay, I figured they'd just go for the Greymane again to add burst. They don't seem to favor necessarily like a Jaina-style burst, at least not this game, not this series. Maybe they're mixing it up, I kind of forget. The Leo's good. I think it does decently against the Yorel with the life drain and all that. I'm actually a little unclear in that matchup. Haven't seen it much because I don't see Leoric as much. I'm a big fan of the hero. We'll see what they go here. I'm really curious about the offlane choice. There's the Yorel, makes sense. Yorel Phoenix, pretty solid. And there's plenty of slow procs here for Phoenix overall. Garrosh slows, Deckard slows, you know, AoE slows. Kale can talent slows. Yorel also, I think her hammer slows, doesn't it? By default. I'm actually not sure if it slows by default. I'm actually enough of a noob to not know if her like hammer slow. I think I should know this, but I don't. I don't know if her hammer slows by default. Lucio, what face? Okay, so enemies are stunned with hammer at max charge, not slowed. That's what was throwing me off. Oh, she has slow and avenging wrath. Okay. I was just getting my head mixed up. Okay. The Lucio is pretty interesting. I feel like that might have been a little too out of left field. Alex is up. Decker, Greymane was, so what am I saying? Stukov was still up. Malf even, if you wanted. Pretty reasonable here. But hey, I don't mind people being daring, trying something a little different. We're in a day when we called picking Lucio was daring. There was a time when he dominated the meta on supports. The use of sound barrier could be really crucial for sure. If he can sound barrier like a big Phoenix salvo, along with like whatever damage Kilthos is throwing out. But I'm not sure. Like, I don't think he can keep up. Like pre-10, I have concerns about big fights for Zul'jin as a result of this Lucio pick. Even post-10, because like until he gets Rejuvenesca at 16, he's not going to have particularly awesome healing. And there isn't the most burst from this team, but it starts adding up, right? The Phoenix poke, the Kale poke, and then when they go in, there's enough like crazy locked control between these three heroes. Garrosh, Deckard, Yorel, which Phoenix and Kale can abuse pretty heavily, especially if they can force like Living Bomb spreads and the splash damage from Phase Cannon or whatever it's called. What is that called, by the way?
Good day, my friend.
Phase Bomb. And of course the Q, the late of Plasma Cutter and all that stuff. So again, curious to see if there's some adjustments. Nice opening here from Zaldrith. Did not get the Q off on the Johanna, but a lot of damage here. DeWitt almost going down. Let us start also almost going down, and a couple stacks here for Garrosh already out of the gate. Squad and Alpha looking way better, in much better shape. A Ripper mount. See if the teams can get down the rotations. I would expect the wave clear to be... I'm actually not sure about that, because Kale Phoenix wave clear like a boss. This support pick was interesting. DeWitt's in a lot of trouble here if he's not careful. Has the Iron Skin. Hoggle, though, eats a fat corruption. The clear is actually about the same, but the, what do I want to say, the resource use on clear is lower. Probably, potentially. Actually, that's not true, because Phoenix uses no mana, so really it's sort of a, what do you call it, a stalemate. Both teams can clear quickly and efficiently in regards to resources. Godan has to spend resource, but he always just drains it back, so there's no real difference. I don't really like the mages stepping up like this. Both of them are kind of running out in these lanes in front. It's not really what you want to be doing. Again, leaving you open to get jumped, potentially. Squad 9 doesn't have a big jump team, per se, but, you know, they still have a Garrosh. That was a nice toss back. He might slow it down here. Does not. Good potion by Luna. As soon as his action's over, we're going to check in on the bottom matchup, which seems to be pretty still matey, which I expected. Both heroes can heal, both heroes can clear. Hoggle maybe in a lot of trouble here. Nope, he's alright. Nice CC by Luna. Mana bars, though, as you can see, for Squad 9, not too happy. Deckard low and Kale low. The resources here are going to be lower, so other than the Phoenix, the resource expenditure is high for these heroes, and that's what I was thinking, which basically means most of the clears on the Phoenix in terms of resource value. When he clears quickly, but Gul'dan, Greymane are still going to clear quicker. Gul'dan is the highest ranged solo clear hero in the game, as far as I know, in terms of pure efficiency. Means like speed. Plenty of heroes who can clear, but he flash clears. I say ranged because there's heroes like Zool and Illidan who can, and Melee who can like super clear. Both teams are pretty even on gems, even on XP, no kills yet, so things are looking good. Just sort of waiting for either this Garrosh. I would expect Squad 9 Alpha to get the first blood, frankly, but we'll see. A lot depends on this Garrosh and the follow-up from the Kale. But they are keeping Zul'jin at bay pretty reasonably with all the CC and slow. DeWitt might be in a lot of trouble. He gets the first blood, and Letastar might follow. Holy moly, almost a triple kill for Squad 9 Alpha. And this is what I was talking about, the weakness of the Lucio. I called it bold or daring, but I'm just not sure it makes any sense in terms of your draft. I mean, I guess maybe the idea is you want to move speed people, but these heroes don't need, they don't need move speed. Greymane's already mobile enough, Leo's mobile enough, Johanna's mobile enough, especially with Conviction, right? Gul'dan doesn't really need move speed, frankly. Like, he can't even really make use of it in terms of attack pressure. Bit of a misplay by Zoldreth. Team's trying to turn in gems, and he tossed Johanna at his team. Not really what you want to do. Not sure he intended to do that. Could have been a misclick, or... But he's not comboing Groundbreaker with Wrecking Ball. Which I'm mildly concerned about. On the Garrosh. He's getting stacked, which is good. He's already up to post 10, so... But I think they might have been able to secure another kill or two with a more proper combo, or at least a lot more pressure. So for Squad Zul'jin Distillery, they've came close to getting a kill or two, but they're not really going to hit their stride till probably level 10, in my opinion, because then a lot of big ults come online. The Entomb and the Horrify, Blessed Shield, the Barrier, like that's when they can go in and try and make the plays. We'll see if they can, though. Deckard, I think I'd rather see him take sleep this game to just cancel out this dive and screw with them. Kill should definitely just go Phoenix. Though I guess there's a world where you go Pyro and like outweight every defensive skill and then cast Pyro on a squishy, but not the biggest fan. Huh. Well, I wasn't really watching what's going on with the turn-in, and both teams had 20-30 turned in, but surprised red team gets the first turn-in, because they're behind a few kills and a little bit of levels, and they do have the... I guess blue team is chasing... No, they were actually chasing the RL. I don't know what happened. I guess Squad 9 was just middle or top or something and not paying attention. There's the combo. Red will have to turn in, deal with these Weavers. Excuse me, Red, what am I saying? Squad 9 Alpha. To deal with the Red Weavers. Quest done. So, the thing about the first turn-in is it's usually not the greatest value. Nice throwback here on DeWitt. He's just getting body blocked, but what's his name almost goes down. Phoenix nearly died. So almost a trade. But they still are getting some push value, so they did lose their Joe, but they opened up top, which is important. Fresh. Maybe not respecting the Garrosh. The Garrosh debate is real. A nice lift by Kale. He may just die here. Can he get healed by Letastar? He cannot. Down he goes. 4-0 for Squad 9 Alpha. Looking to reverse their fortunes in game 1. But I don't want to harp on about it too much, but this Lucio pick is just gimping Zul'jin really hard. Like, incredibly hard. So we'll see what happens post 10. But as I mentioned at the start of the game, pre-10, I don't really see them accomplishing anything notable. I think Gul'dan's probably in a lot of trouble here. Should die. Too much CC, too much control. Phoenix goes down though on the side, so nice counterplay. Gul'dan actually targeted him before he died, so it was a good job by him recognizing that opportunity. Nice skilly walk by Cowboy Kyle. Still spreading bombs, doesn't look like. That was basically an attempt to stall Blue turning in, but I'm not sure they wanted to, because now they're not 10 and Squad 9 is. They're still middle. This is really dangerous. I don't know what they're doing here. This is insane. There's a taunt. That's just on the super tank, but they may have burned enough of his defense. No, he still had the Iron Skin. That was a really, really good Nerves of Steel, literally, by DeWitt to hold on to that. Here's the 10s, so no real punish for that. I would have liked this to just never mind trying to stall the turn in, just focus on getting level 10 would have been the play for Zul'jin. In that case, they weren't really punished for it, but you know, that Horrify comes out. But down goes Deckard. He's just up a little too far. Oh, he was up too far because of the Horrify. Duh. But looks like a couple more kills may happen here. DeWitt convictions it off. Oh, look at corruption. Zeldris will taunt to stall out any further damage. I don't mind that. I don't think it was necessary to taunt there, because Gul'dan was... You probably just body block him and achieve the same effect, but if you're not sure, better safe than sorry. The cooldown will be up by the time you're bothering to fight again, so it doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. But if you want to nitpick the do I really need to use this skill, I don't think it did, but that's fine. Jay looks low, but he has almost full shield, so he's tankier than it appears. No way Cowboy Kyle turns in. Both teams have turned in again, so we'll see how this plays out. Zul'jin have largely stabilized on the XP, even though they're down 4 kills. Blue push got less than theirs did, actually. Well, both pushes achieved about the same, but Zul'jin got a little more out of mid damage. Which is notable because the first push was the weaker one, the second push was the stronger one, so. Expect some taunts to start coming out. This is a 3-man taunt from Zeldris. He gets the 2 though, misses Let Us Star. Sunbearer comes out. Isn't really what you wanted. Should have taunted sooner. But we'll see. Squad 9's kind of out of gas in the tank. Leo goes down, but it's just a Leo. He'll come back. The only one who has an ult left is Greymane and Lornado. DeWitt's just trying to turn in. That's a little cheeky. Out comes Lornado. Gravity Lapse will miss. Top lane is going to push in, though, nicely for Zul'jin. I think teams can afford to reset. Like, don't they both have wall taps? Yeah, like, they don't have to fight to the death over this. They just need a stall. Cowboy Kyle's just going in. He has no gems, gets the stall. We got the DeWitt flashlight on Joe. Blessed Shield. Screaming Souls go for the throat, maybe not finding any targets. It's a nice Entomb. This go for the throat really needs to be used on somebody who's low. Just get the damage. Okay, finally used. But too little too late. Zul'jin will get cleaned up. Good try, but it wasn't all in the Greymane or anything like that. But you need to force the HP down, even if you don't get the kill, like, with Go for the Throat. You need, like, you just need to burst somebody low enough so your team can get a kill and then try and turn the fight. Like, people are staying low for way too long without this being used. Pretty decent by Zul'jin, but the weakness of the draft showing a little bit. Without, like, true burst damage. Greymane's burst is melee. And otherwise they have sustain across the board. And here, if we look at the numbers, probably going to see Deckard being fairly happy. Lucio, of course, has constant passive healing, and he had a pretty nice sound barrier. So we did sound barrier at the right time. Top was getting some chip damage in for Zul'jin, but of course the Web Weaver turn in. They can turn this into a keep wall push, or take out mid-bottom. We'll see what they do. Both options are fine. Middle's probably is certainly the much safer option. Two levels down for Zoljan Distillery. Is this a double turn-in? They're one gem short. Yikes, this is scary. I don't think this isn't the play from Zoljan. You need to be picking a fight right now, or you're gonna have to wait like several minutes before you can. And letting the enemy get free 16 free turn-in is a really bad idea. Nice tornado. Johanna blinds, but too late. Should have iron skinned it sooner. Or iron skinned the tornado and then flashlighted if this was what you were bothering to do. But DeWitt will just pay with his life for it. Indecision. Letasar will also rip the sound barrier. Zul'jin making some unfortunate decisions here. Will pay for it with a couple kills, a couple cooldowns, and another blue Weaver push. Yes, this was just now, right? You have all your heroes on the camp, which could have been done by a solo Greymane. You're not shoving out your lanes, you're not soaking, you're not contesting. But realistically, this camp does absolutely nothing right now. You don't, like, you take camps on Tomb and downtime. Not when there's, like, we have to go fight and defend right now type of moments. Nice toss back here, and Lucio will just go down. It's probably a keep at this point, but they still do have Horrify and Entomb to try and stall things out from Zoldan Distillery. But they are without their healer for almost 30 seconds, which is going to make this defense a little hard. And sort of the same issue we saw last game from Squad 9 Alpha, where they had really short-ranged defense. Nice, Tan just cleans up Johanna, Horrify too late. MJ will put out the defender. These abilities are just coming out too late. Horrify and Sound Barrier and stuff. If they're going to be bothered to be used, they need to be used sooner or not used at all. Because it's just a double negative. Your teammate's dying anyway, and they're wasting the cooldown, so now you can't go fight, right? No Horrify for a minute. All kill shots way too far up, by the way. I'm not sure why Garrosh didn't throw him. Pretty sure he had the range, but that's fine. Double keep here for Zul'jin. Excuse me, for Squad 9. Maybe even Core outright. They're the ones to have this 4-level lead in Game 2 here. Zul'jin have a couple kills to their name, but not gonna save them from losing. They should have responded to this quicker, conversely. Could have saved it from going down to creeps. Won't save it, of course, from a poke from Zul'jin. Horrify is good. Cover by Cleo throws out an Entomb. Not gonna do too much. I was saying, yeah, the defense last game from Squad 9 Alpha was really short-ranged, and it hurt them a lot. This Gul'dan Cassia, trying to like poke Punishers. We have much the same issue here with Zul'jin Distillery. Gul'dan and Greymane, slightly longer range, because Greymane has a little more range than Cassia, but you can't get any like safe, heavy, long-range damage on from these heroes. They have to step up a little bit to deal the damage, and that puts them into initiation range from this Garrosh and Yrel and stuff, so... And of course there's always Deckard CC to worry about. Of course you don't draft to plan, I think you just pick this fight. Again, you have no option. This is game, you just rip it. Try and make plays. It's a pretty nice Horrify, but see what can happen. Phoenix though, just getting destroyed. Woo! Zul'jin Distillery may being able to turn things around. They really need to target Aura Luna though, get rid of her. Down she will go indeed. Heroes dying left and right. Not sure who's really winning this in the end. Looks like Squad 9 Alpha. Last ankle shot. Oh, what's he doing? He needs to be kidding. Oh, okay. Bosted is resetting. He stopped to hit minions. Leo is rezzing here. Do it if he can just stay alive. Nope, does go down. Pretty good fight from Zul'jin Distillery. Wasn't looking at talents. Gul'dan did land a really big Ruinous Affliction, which is how that fight went so well to begin with. Of course, here we're seeing the talent difference show as well. Actually, these two guys didn't pick their 20s. Of course, they weren't quite 20 when that fight started. It was like a sliver before. So, Zul'jin buy themselves some time. They did gain a couple levels off that from all those kills. Core didn't take any damage. Boss was reset, so they gave themselves a shot. Gems, I don't know. I actually didn't check the gem count before that fight. In any case, now the team is turning. Zul'jin is still in this game. Kill's dead. If they can really push Soak, maybe try and find some counter engage here. They're being a little too passive. Someone needs to be bottom. Someone needs to be top. If we look at, their vision. Obviously they can't see what I see, but they could be, like, they have to get this 20 ASAP. And they're doing it not really right. I guess they're posturing top because they're afraid of boss, but, they can stall with heroes like Leo or Joe and get here in time. So they spent too much time top. This is going to bite them in the rear. They could have already been 19 plus. And now if they go to try and get the 19 somewhere else, Sweat9 will just get the boss. They don't have to worry about gem turn in, so... But this, again, this is problematic. Catapults, Giants, and now they just go on boss, so... Notable misplay from Zul'jin might have just cost them the game here. Obviously they're not in a good position anyway, down 3 keeps, but... And not the 20, but this is the wrong call. Now they're forced to take a 4v5 without Leo, or just auto-lose the game. Are they not going for this? They really have to. Lonado's out. They're hesitant to run in, but if this is game over. They let this boss happen. They need to just run in and like throw down a Horrify or something. Looks like they're just letting it happen. Too hesitant to go in. They're running in now, but again, way too late. Boss will be taken. Horrify goes out, but Leo's coming in, but too little too late for Zul'jin. Distillery. This has been the theme of this game a little bit. They did the same thing bottom when Squad 9 was 16. They just took way too long to show up to contest, not understanding their timings. In this specific case, they failed to go bottom, defend bottom sooner. They had plenty of time. They spent a good 30-40 seconds in this top mid area, maybe even up to a minute. Left bottom completely open. Some other time they needed to go defend top. First is in Leo bottom, like, put themselves in a darned if you do, darned if you don't. Close though. Best moment for Zul'jin this game was stalling that boss fight top, getting a couple kills, delayed the game by a couple minutes, gave themselves another opening. Unfortunately, they misused it. Hop over to the summary screen here. Luso's healing was good, but it just didn't have the impact. You can see these damage numbers though. Gul'dan the only one up here. Greymane wasn't really able to do his job this game, which is what I was worried about. Maybe with a different... It's tough. It's a bit of a misdraft. Starting with the Lucio, but maybe with a different support, this Greymane looks better. There's nothing wrong with Lucio Greymane in and of themselves versus his team. Again, defense, 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 self-peel. Like, what are you going to do? And we saw him how much he struggled around that 15-16 fight. Just so long. Fighting, holding the go for the throat and stuff. Kale with all the kills here. Karash with 7, holy moly. Quick talent checks. I'm not too fond of Backdraft. Maybe they took this to combo with Phoenix. Obviously it didn't hurt their game, but Pyromaniac's usually better. You already have Taunt, Throw, Slow, 3 CC skills, 1 CC skill, Slow and CC, and also Slows. So you don't really need Backdraft, honestly. It's just overkill. Just go Pyromaniac, you're throwing out more spells. Yeah, Oh, this was a mistake, I think. I just go the full Wraith build on Leo. It's stronger than this. There is like some world where full W build's a thing, but that's more of like non-scrims. It's really good like Hero League or QM or whatever build. Executioner. Not really anything to proc this, frankly. Johanna slow, I guess, and Leo Q. That's it. Very low amounts of proc. I guess condemn, punish. Really, condemn is too short, so it's just punish, blessed shield. This doesn't last long enough for Greymane to initiate. He can't jump in on upfront targets, so this was a mistake to take this talent, I feel. Of course, what is the? I forget his other 16s. I think he has a Eager Wolf or Alpha Killer or something, right? Yeah, just take one of those. Like, all his 16s are really good, but it was the wrong one to take here. Alpha Killer or Eager Wolf, maybe. Well, anyway, not this one. I don't think. I guess this one is the ranged one, and Alpha Killer is melee, so of the two, it's better. I don't know. Eager Wolf's probably the easiest one here. Lucio, well, shouldn't have been picked. Feels bad. Alrighty, we're gonna pop over to our. Whoop, that's the wrong screen. Team talk time. And I'm gonna go talk to Squad 9 Alpha again. Heyo.
Oh, there you are.
I was yakking about like talents and stuff and on the summary screen for a bit.
Ah, gotcha.
Felt compelled. There was some incorrect talent picks by Leo and Kale, maybe, if you want to call it incorrect. I suggested alternatives at 1 tier. And for the Greymanes. Anyway, whatever.
I actually have a question about talents.
Yes.
For Phoenix at 7, when you're going Arsenal Synergy, what's a good choice?
Give me a sec.
Because I was very unsure there. I went for Divert Power, but I found myself not using it. So
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to either because, like, against this Greymane Gul'dan, sort of, like, if they're looking to burst you later, so losing your shield isn't the best idea.
yeah, I didn't use it until the core race.
Yeah,
so.
you basically want to out-sustain them. I mean, combat advantage is the easiest thing to take because you'll tend to get value. Warp
Sorry,
Warfare is like there is a legit warp build with Warp Warfare.
But it's okay. So just go combat advantage anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
go combat
Sorry.
advantage.
Just
by
distraction
default.
because
No, it's
I remember
fine.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
Game.
But there's times when Divert Power, Warp Warfare, usually in slightly more divey situations, when your team has a lot of tempo and you're rushing in, and they're like, "Oh crap," right? But if you can be targeted as you were more than once, not your fault, but like even in their dying moments, they were like trying to kill you, and they did once or twice. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Makes
Yeah.
sense. All right. Go on to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, nice game. Kind of a reversal from game 1, other than they got a few kills, but you were, 4 levels up, so feels good for you, I imagine. Again, draft was way smoother. You opened with the Garrosh, and then, the Deckard Kill, I think. Like, much stronger, much smoother draft. I was liking... I liked their draft until the Lucio pick. I think it really screwed them, but that's not your problem.
Confused me.
But
I
it
was like,
meant that
huh.
I think you were expecting maybe more of an early game brawls, but with the Lucio they couldn't do anything to like post 10, so that made the game really weird, I think, for both teams, or whatever. But what to consider? Not too much, really. Overall, I think you could have jugged. There's some really scrappy team fights. You came out on top. Skill use seemed fine. Garrosh seemed a little rusty, but you got into it as the game went on. Think about your combos a little more. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think of Lornado?
I like it a lot because it's super long range.
Would have been better to take Stay Well, or
It's kind of easy to misuse because of the cast delay. And, that's the issue with a lot of delayed cast abilities. You're like, it looks really good in this moment, but then you're like, wait, the moment's passed because of the cast delay. So you had some really good Lornado. I liked how you used it, though. You're looking to zone them off the objectives while you were turning in. You were looking to zone them off the boss where you're trying to take it. Like, those are the kind of uses I want to see players use their skills, to defend, not just like, oh, we're getting dived, press R, or we're fighting, press R. Like, no, like these other moments, like you're recognizing, oh, we need to stall them. We want to just push them away so we can, achieve what we were doing here on an objective or a boss or something like that. So, and those, I mean, sleep's pretty easy to combo with things like if you can CC them or sleep them and then sort of like wait, CC them and salvo, like you can do some more creative things. But depending on their team, I mean, they have like Johanna with Iron Skin. Theoretically, they could like Iron Skin Blessed Shield you and cancel the sleep. So I think Lornado is a safer choice. You didn't have any particular need for it because they weren't really divey. They had this like Golden Grey main, a lot of sustained damage. So Sleep's always a good option, but I like Lornado there a little better personally, and I think he used it well.
Okay.
Versus a different matchup, Sleep would have been, or even a different draft on your end, like a more combo-based draft. Sleep would have been the play, but it wasn't true on either side. They weren't really divey, you weren't really that combo-y, so Lornado was good.
Okay.
Probably just my only notable thoughts are early game. Trying to have Phoenix clear the waves more than Kael'thas, because Kael should just burn all his mana and then tap, and then burn his mana, then run home, and right? It's a little awkward where Phoenix has no resource expenditure to clear the waves. I'm not saying Kael shouldn't throw out any spells, but maybe limit him to like using double living bomb or something in the occasional queue, rather than just drain mana, drain mana, drain mana. Would probably be easier. I mean, you're competing a little bit with their flash clear of the Skoldan, but Phoenix has pretty mean clear on his own, and with a little help from Kael and the rest of the team, I'm not just balance it out a little more so Kael has a little more mana.
I was using too many spells.
Yeah,
for sure.
and then because then when you go to fight, there was a point where like Deckard was completely out of mana, Kael was completely out of mana, and you're like, we want to fight, but we can't. So
yeah,
think about that a little bit. Maybe some mildly unsafe positioning once or twice, rotating, it wasn't punished. But I think, funnily enough, both mages like ran middle, and then like out in front of the whole teams, and we're like, oh, we're kind of out here, and turned around and like ran back to their team. Like, hi,
That
Kael.
stupid boss fight.
Oh, that was sick. I mean, that was their only play at that point, and it was pretty awesome. I mean, you came out on top in the end, but they did stall the game by a few more minutes, so.
Like the boss leashed like twice, and we just didn't get it, and we're just like, okay, we'll get camps instead. This is fine.
Yeah, exactly. They had a better shot at trying to stall that again, and they missed it. But I'm going to talk to them about that. But basically,
yeah, we also talked about how our DPS ran away from the boss before they even came in, and made it take longer for us to finish it.
Right. Well,
let's just
the first fight, Gul'dan like got a 6 corruption hits or whatever on Phoenix, and nearly outright one-shot at him. So he had to run, or he would have died. But you mean the second time or the first time?
No, the second time, before they even engaged us, our DPS.
Yeah, I noticed you're being a little hesitant.
Get ready for a possible engage instead of just burning the boss.
And you should
which would have killed it.
Yeah, you should have seen their Leo was bottom as well, which meant even if they engage, it's 5v4, and that's good for you. So.
I thought Leo was rotating up, which is why.
Well, he did, but it took him a long time. So.
Yeah, like we have lots of tools to delay them getting.
Yeah,
in there,
you should be aware of that, but no need to like, oh my god, do it now. Like let the Decker do it first, let the Garrosh do it first. Again, there was a Lornado through that choke point that stalled him a bit. Garrosh, I think, threw Johanna or someone out that stalled it a little more. Stuff like that. Let them do it first, and then if you're needed to also like. All else failing, you can warp over the wall or something or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
No, that was definitely my bad.
No big deal. I mean, the consideration is correct. It's just the timing can be adjusted, right? Because
I just need to remember when I have warp up.
There's teams who are oblivious to this fact, and then they just get annihilated because they're not understanding when the enemy is running at them, and you're in a dead end. That's a culty sack. It's the boss pit, right? You're the only one who could get out as Phoenix with warp. Everyone else will be stuck in there. So. Very good thing to be aware of. Just fine tune it on your timing. And otherwise, look good. Are we playing a game 3? By the way, I still haven't talked to Zul'jin, but
I mean we have time.
Like to.
We have time. I would like to because each team is 1-1. So yeah, it seems like. But BO3 is usually the scrim order. So GG, well played. You guys are now 1-1. So let's see what game 3 brings. But I'm gonna go talk to them. And it's it is map pick back to you guys though, right? So what do you want to pick?
Let's see. We did Infernal first. Do you want to do something where?
Well, you can think about it and ping me. I'm gonna go talk to Zul'jin.
All right.
All right.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Ew. Pretty crazy game. A lot of good moments. But talk to me about the Lucio pick. What was up with that?
Yeah, so that was totally on me as support.
But we all agreed with it.
We were looking at how the draft played out, and we were thinking that with the faster rotations with Lucio, with the burst mitigation against the salvo with Phoenix and Kael'thas, that it would be a good fit.
Well,
right. The idea was
it's
to enable
right.
Greymane to go in.
I
but-
can I can understand the idea, but it's not fully thought out because their damage threat, and let's just start with that angle. Their damage threat isn't just salvo and kill. Like they still have plenty of sustained damage after that. So yes, you had some really good barriers, but it's not that it didn't matter, but it kind of didn't matter because they're still fighting. Like if they're an all-in, like Lucio's really good against one-shot teams who want a wombo combo. They're running, APOC, Ring of Frost, Salvo, or something. You shield it, and then they're like, "Oh crap, what do? We didn't kill anybody, right?" But that's not, that wasn't their team composition. So yes, they had some of these combos, but realistically, they had enough threat after. No matter how perfect some barrier you get, things are still going to be pretty dicey after that. So from that consideration, it's like half thought out. And in regards to the rotations, Lucio does in fact speed up rotations, but you're on Tomb. You don't really need to speed up your rotations, right? The lanes are already really, really short together, close together. As far as enabling Greymane, yes, Lucio is good with Greymane on paper, but versus that matchup, Greymane could practically never go into melee form. Like
Right.
practically
Which
never.
is
So
what we found out. Yeah.
yes, so
That's what I experienced.
so everyone's doing their best, but again, a little half thought out. Like yes, Lucio can enable Greymane to go in, but you need to first consider, can Greymane go in? Yes or no? Haha. Right. So if you'll come to that conclusion by asking yourself a few other more relevant questions, such as, are they all one-shot burst? So do we need one-shot burst defense? Yes or no? Well, the answer is no. Can Greymane go in? Yes or no? The answer is no. All right, Lucio is not the best option. I'm not trying to make anyone sound stupid. I'm just trying to get you to,
Right.
adjust your thought process when you're
Yeah.
drafting and considering.
Yeah, it
the
seemed like we
matchup.
were seeing only upside there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not your ideas aren't wrong. They're just not fully formed. So I'm happy to
Okay,
see
so-
people thinking and trying to be creative and all this stuff that's really good. Just push it a little further.
Okay, so then my thought with what you're telling me is coming back to the fact that Lucio is a decent sustain healer.
Yes, but not
Um,
really till later because he doesn't really like superhero till Rejuvenesca, and that's 16.
Right, 16.
Right.
Like you need more self-healing on the team at that point. I mean, sure you have Gul'dan and Johanna, but that doesn't really count. It's not like, I don't know, heroes like Yrel or Thrall or Blaze or whatever who like. I mean, you had Leo. I guess he had a decent amount of self-heal, but it just wasn't. I don't know. Like the Lucio pick, compared to the Deckard, right? He's just throwing out CC. Lucio has no CC. He just shields and moves. So if you can't leverage his kit and like abuse his kit in terms of move speed, basically, and this like burst, surprise healing, whatever you want to call it, the pick's going to look weak because outside of that, he can't really offer anything to the team no matter how well you play him. You could play like a god and it wouldn't really change that matchup because that's the matchup. So it's easier to just pick something that'll enable. Gul'dan doesn't really need enabling because he has like his very self-sustaining kit in general. But the more you can just control the battlefield, the easier it is, right? You had Entomb, you had Horrify. That's you need something else. You need like one more thing.
Stukov silence inside.
Yeah,
the
like game
Entomb.
one, you played out of your mind on that Stukov, like made it look easy. So you're certainly capable of these like playmaking, battlefield controlling supports. It's not that the entire game was on the Lucio or anything. It just made it really hard for you and everyone else.
Yeah, you make a fair point. There's a reason why Deckard is meta. There's a reason why Stukov and Malf are up there too.
Yeah, I was expecting a Alex or Stukov or Malf pick from you guys because they banned Whitemane and took Deckard. Which I think Whitemane would have been pretty cool for you guys. So again, smart ban by them. They banned a game one as well. Again, I think it would have been good for you guys. So yeah, I mean, I say I'm the first to say don't be afraid to like try out different drafts or picks, but also it needs to fit in with your win condition. Like there's a stipulation on that statement. But otherwise, I know we're you know, we still have a third game to play here, so I don't want to take too much longer. We're going to go to Dragonshire. But just some of the decision making needs to be 2 moments. Basically, the same thing happened just before they hit 16 and just before they hit 20. You took too long to go and contest whatever they were doing. In this case, it was the bottom turn in. I think 4 or 5 of you were on a bruiser camp while they were getting gem turn in and
Yeah.
getting 16, and then you showed up to contest last second. It just doesn't make sense, right? If you're going to contest, you need to show up sooner before they hit 16, before they're turning in. The bruiser camp's not going to really do anything at that point in time. If you want to really take it, have one hero do it, like the Greymane, and stall with the rest. But I think you had practically everyone on the camp, which let them just super set up and defend and just kind of get the turn in, and or maybe there was that big fight then. But in any case, you don't want to, you know, bring it down to the wire because it's too stressful. Same thing with the idea top. You had that really good fight on boss, totally stalled it. Both teams got a few kills. That was like the most awesome fight of the night, I think. And then okay, great, you reset the game, but then you all hung out top and you let bottom get super pushed and middle get super pushed. And you're like, oh shit, we got to go bottom. And then they're like, oh, okay, as soon as they go bottom, we're gonna go boss, right? So what you should have been doing is split up and try and get to 20. You know, you probably could have been like level 19 and a half or something if you had split up properly. And then bottom's shoved in, and then Leo can just rejoin the team, and you properly contest boss, because same problem. You waited to go in until boss had like 2% HP. Because Leo was bottom, and you know, you put yourselves in this like darned if you don't position. So try and think a little further ahead if you can, and avoid that through your map positioning and macro. And that's it. Otherwise, like, you certainly tried to make plays and had some good plays. But you're 1 for 1, so it's exciting, and we'll go into Dragonshire for game 3.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Make
good.
the lobby in a moment, and good luck, have fun.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Dragonshire. Where are you? Dragonshire is picked by Squad 9 Alpha. That means Team 2 has coin toss. We're going to switch back to the waiting screen. Alright, game 3 here. This is BO3 Scrim. Each team has 1 game won. Both games were kind of one-sided, though Zul'jin put up a pretty strong fight in game 2. But not enough in the end. Alright, 1 player needs to be set. No problem. Good time for a quick bio break if anyone needs it. Yeah, this is a pretty fun series. It's about what I expected coming in. Though Squad 9 Alpha underperformed game 1 for a variety of reasons. Game 2 clearly showing they can bring it back. Helps that Zaldrith is there as their regular main tank. But, you know, draft was a lot better. Game plan was a lot better. It paid off for them. A we're doing a strategy.
Is this where the cool kids hang out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. Only the really cool ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so you messaged me about quick cast on Garrosh. I've tried it out before. I personally don't like it, and I switched. Oh no, that's not true. I left quick cast on Blood Craze or whatever, but I left it off of Warbreaker. It was too awkward. And Toss as well, but that's just my preference. So Q and E, I still don't quick cast. I just quick cast W, and that happened after one game with a fucking Tracer. I couldn't W her, and I died because of it, and I got so pissed off that I switched to quick cast. Because in that like brief moment I took to press the key and click, and I'm pretty quick at clicking. I just couldn't tech her because blink, 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 recall, and I'm just like, ah. So I switched to the quick cast after that.
That makes sense.
Maybe
The
there's
W on what character?
Garrosh. It's his heal,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
and I just like need anyway. So now I quick cast that. I tried it as other skills. It was too weird to me. And sure, there's like adjustment periods, but I personally don't feel like I need to quick cast his skills other than the W. So that's just my opinion on it. Certain heroes I think you need to quick cast. For example, Li Ming. I think you should quick cast every one of her abilities other than her alts. For example,
Yeah.
Blink on Tracer should be quick cast, etc.
What? No.
Yeah, it's a
True
type of
story. I
quick
played
cast.
Tracer to like level 20 before I switched to quick cast.
Oh God, poor soul. Yeah, it feels bad, man. Certain heroes feel really clunky without quick cast, and others feel smoother with them. Of course, it does come down to player preference, but
Of course, I'm also the same guy that didn't know you could cancel Void till I had 0 to the level 40.
That's fair. There's still people who don't know, or that you can cancel Butcher Charge and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
there is a delay on the cancel, though, right? You can't just cancel it instantly, like some skills.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's 1 or 2 seconds. I forget which. I think it's 1, but I could be wrong. It's at least 1. Might be 2. So little things. There's people who don't know, Kerrigan's double strike or Diablo's momentum could be double procced. Diabolical momentum and swarm momentum. If they talent, you can get double the cooldown
it's
reduction.
shift.
No. It's talent based with life leech on Diablo and double strike on Kerrigan.
All right,
They
I
count.
got.
Oh, okay, I got you.
There's just little details, like sort of hidden info.
Okay,
about the game.
because I've had people that are always complaining about how they'll charge and they can't flip them fast
Oh
enough.
yeah, no, that is a thing, and yeah, you want to shift queue that for sure. Looks like we're all ready to go though, guys. So Dragonshire Game 3, I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm gonna hop back over.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
I'll just stay in here and listen to your cast.
Sounds good. Already. Okay. Teams are ready. Let's go to game 3. Already. This will be the last game of the evening. Red team banning. Deckard ban makes sense. Was well played. Game 2 for sure. The Haka ban. We are in Dragonshire, so global ban makes sense. Might main ban again from Squad and Alpha. They really don't like to play against this hero, it seems. So won't get to see her tonight. Stukov first pick from Sultan Distillery. They did play it like a boss, game 1 on Infernal. So I don't mind it here. I'm not sure they needed to grab it up front as a first pick, because it kind of gives up this Urel, for example. I think they could have first picked Urel and grabbed Stukov here. I don't think Squad 9 really play. No, they play Stukov, but I don't think they prioritize it right now. Of course, with this Deckard ban, maybe they would, but Stukov's a fine first pick if it's well played, which it is. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Thrall Phoenix. Okay, so technically both these heroes can offlane. I'm not sure. I think Thrall versus Urel's fine if you talent right. I like Phoenix Urel. It's a lot of flexible damage and mobility. I mean, sorry, Phoenix Thrall. Rhaegar ban, interesting. A new Rhaegar ban. A lot of interesting bans and picks here game 3. I like it. Getting spicier game 3. Both teams picking, banning some different things. Hanzo Urel, pretty cool. Again, doesn't give too much away other than Hanzo's a little pokey, but hey, it's the Cho'Gall. Oh. Yeah, okay, that explains the new ban. I was thinking like, I'm a little distracted here. I had to text my brother at a work thing, but that explains the new ban, so I don't want to get double whipped. Thrall Phoenix Stukov, though, not too shabby against Cho'Gall, honestly. Quite a bit of damage, decent amount of poke. Of course, the silence. You can't ever silence Gall, of course, but other than you can stasis him. Jaina Stitches, it's pretty solid draft against the Cho'Gall, and of course, you're going to pick up the Anna Oriole. Should be the Anna. Brightwing ban. Wait. Okay, yeah. Alright. For some reason, I was thinking they had the option to ban a third ban after the Cho'Gall pick. That's not true. Because they would have banned Anna Oriole. But yeah, that's not where the ban phase is. Cool draft. Again, we have this. So we have the Stitches hook threat, which is a threat to Cho, to Anna, and to Hanzo. Though Hanzo could theoretically leap away, depending. But they have. So they're going for like. I don't think they planned on the Stitches necessarily, but it works decently. If Stukov can drop the silence in time, you have a Thrall route, depending on where he is anyway. Jaina slow. Like, if Jaina, Stukov, or Thrall follow up properly, have Stitches routes, they can get kills, even against a Urel. Especially with the silence, that'll be really crippling, because normally these heroes can dash away or jump away. Hanzo has the natural agi, Urel has the something Wrath or the other. Gall, of course, has his fist dash, Surging Fist, which would normally provide some measure of escape, but not when they're silenced, so could work out really, really well for Zul'jin Distillery here. Of course, it is a Cho'Gall game, which means Zalans sounds like some sort of fancy Spanish name or something. Zalons. French maybe? I don't know. And this is going to be a cool game. See, is my brightness up? It is.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Both teams have, like, I like these drafts a lot on both ends. There's some pretty high catch threats from Zul'jin, so Squad and Alpha will need to watch out for that. Catch is actually kind of weak on the side of Squad and Alpha unless they go upheaval, in which case, of course, what do they even have to follow up? The follow-up isn't that great, honestly, to an upheaval play. Cho'Gall getting rooted here, getting beat up. It might even just go down. No, they get the Surging Fist away. Yrel will also smack them back, but that is a lot of damage forced out. Look on Ogle. He is silenced. He is rooted, and he is down. That's the combo. If they were able to land that on Cho'Gall, which I don't think they quite were. I don't think they got the root earlier, unless I missed it. First Blood, Zul'jin Distillery. So even though Cho'Gall is scary, Squad and Alpha plays a mean Cho'Gall. They have a really good team. They weren't planning. It just so happens that they were able to. The 3 picks they had were pretty solid already. The Thralls, Phoenix, Stukov, and adding this Jaina Stitches is pretty solid last for sure. So let's see. They have the Thrall versus Yrel. Thrall needs to go Ancestral Wrath at 7, then I think he can beat down the Yrel. We'll see what Thrall goes. Scatter build is fine. Sleep build's always good. He's a lot will be in this Ana this game to properly heal the Cho'Gall and sleep out aggro from like the Thrall or Stitches. Oh, he canceled the silence. Feels bad, man. If he had left that silence there, that would have been really nasty. So Jaina meandered middle. They're going to cede a little bottom control as a result of this. I'd like to see them combo off this hook a little more. They saw how well they could do it earlier. But down here they're just throwing it a little intermittently, not quite staggering the abilities together. Phoenix can zone out Hanzo on his own, so this works out. They can just get Cho'Gall with like a Blizzard silence. Oh, hook on the Ana, that's even better. Go for the Cho'Gall support. Good call. Nice patience by DeWitt there to snag that. Zalons will have to run for now. Well tap maybe is up. Indeed it is. Phoenix getting some decent damage middle. Almost getting down the wall. Thrall Yrel is pretty stalled out. Blue has control, Sweat9 has control of top. Zul'jin has control of bottom. They can manage to kill this Cho'Gall and then be able to peel a hero up to help the Thrall. Jaina doing the camp, I like it. Oh, max range hook! Oh my god. That was so long, right? It was like, how did that hit? That was good. They're just buying time for Jaina to grab this camp. Thrall is getting a little beat up top, but he doesn't need to do anything here other than stall. Not lose the lane. He doesn't have to win the lane, he has to not lose the lane. So, I'm talking a lot about Zul'jin. Let's talk about Squad and Alpha a little bit here. In what they need to do. Honestly, it's the Cho'Gall comp, which means they're going to be scaling, looking to scale. So pre like 10 or even pre 13, I don't expect great things from them. Frankly. Oh, this hook of this on is probably a dead. No, the silence is off. Misses. She might just live as a result of this. They go in hard. I don't even know how you. I don't know. It was like a free silence setup, just miscast. Maybe he's trying to cast it where he thought she would run. Maybe she lives even with the silence, but it doesn't help. So this combo's devastating when they land it, slightly less so when they miss it. They're still doing fine here. Giants were in bottom. Did Phoenix manage to push the middle? He did. Yeah, they're keeping the Cho'Gall at bay, which is impressive, honestly. Stukov is out of mana though, so. I think it's definitely the right call to focus on trying to snag this Ana, not the Cho'Gall. because with this is a really sustaining build for Cho'Gall. So poking them, like between that and the Yana heals, like poking him is almost pointless. What did Thrall? Okay, Thrall should be able to do some damage to Urel up here. We'll see. At least do a little better. But they are winning the XP war quite a bit, and this is a result of this Phoenix. Phoenix Hanzo middle. Hanzo's getting Bruiser, which will help shove top more, but Phoenix is just almost full level behind as a result of this. He should be targeting the well. Looks like he will. I think he can stay. He can just warp out if he has to. Like, killing this well is a big deal. Well played by Befresh. Ooh. At this point, Zul'jin will get their 10s first, and they can probably make a play bottom with that. I think I'd rather see Water Elemental here than Ring. Hanzo died to Phoenix. He got dove under the fort, it looks like. I was here a moment ago with my camera wondering if that would happen. Speaking of things happening. Aura lives with 140 HP. Phoenix go top to help. And this is what I was just waiting for, a kill basically. Then one of them would rotate up. I guess Hanzo didn't, maybe he's in a spot where he couldn't natural agi, or he was too late to natural agi or something. Jaina middle, so they're trying to force DK right now. But they're a little late here. Top, they should have been forcing Urel off sooner. Jaina won't be able to grab the mid DK as a result of this. They are 10 though, so that was Bile. A little surprised to not see Gorge, because you can Gorge Cho'Gall. Jaina might just get this DK for free. No, she gets stalled out. Can't do it. Hanzo might even be able to kill her, honestly. Yeah, she's just gonna die, I think. Oh my god! She nails him with the Blizzard. I think Hanzo stayed in the Blizzard. Feels bad, man. Jaina doesn't even have to rip ring. Super feels bad. Sweat Knight are gonna be happy with that. Oh, of course, they win ring because Salvo. Silly me. That makes sense. And they have Earthquake. This is actually insane. Oh my god. Cho'Gall. Okay, they have the dash. These skills are just... It's coming out a little too late from the Stukov. Needs to understand that Cho'Gall is going to be moving. That was a massive shove, but it was actually cast on the wall, so nothing happened. So Phoenix can just get free DK middle. I'm kind of surprised he didn't clean out the fort, though. Needs to hurry up. Thrall may die for his sins. But they should get the DK. Yeah, no, he didn't get the DK. Doesn't get anything. Thrall dies, so... Some misplays here from Zul'jin across the board in every lane. And they even lose the Phoenix. Getting cocky. Didn't even bother scanning the Hanzo. Hanzo probably shotgunned him in the face, and now they're getting the DK. Snowball effect. Zul'jin looking strong, but you make a bunch of mistakes like this in a row, enemy will punish you. Phoenix should have just, I don't know, he waited too long. There's a good massive shove. Way too greedy by the Phoenix as well to not scan the Hanzo. I think that would kill him. Especially if he's hitting him with laser cutter. 100% the Hanzo dies. At least they trade the kill and maybe he lives and kills him. There's no reason not to. Good punt. This well's gonna die. Don't think they get the fort, but we'll see. Really depends on Befresh getting wrecked though. Probably do get the fort at this point. Ankle shot's just gonna die. I'm not sure what he's doing there. Stitches was middle. Zul'jin continue to make mistakes. They're gonna need to stop the bleeding if they wanna not have this game snowball against them. They aren't 13 yet. The hook was good. Oh, they actually can't finish the camp with the giant up there. That's funny. Okay, now it's dead. They shouldn't be fighting this. The Jaina's dead. They can get nuked. Like, if they get Dragon Arrowed, they could just die. Oh, nice hook. But where's the silence? Oh, massive shove. Sick kill onto Hanzo. That was great. That was really nice. So the combo is here. We see it. It's scary. You can work on just about any hero. They can land it. This silence was a waste, should not have been used. Just like, what face? doesn't have the extended build, so silence cooldown's lower, but really just need to be saving it. 13 to 13, another hook. Jaina was cleaning up bottom. This doesn't make sense. Should have been the Phoenix. Jaina needs to stay with the Stitches and the Stukov at all times, basically. Cowboy Kyle's gotta be careful. Cho'Gall's off map, might get smacked by the hammer. He misses the root, trying to juke, gets smacked. This is probably a kill, unless he can make his way out. He does. Can Stitches get a hook? He does, but just hits the tower. Should have walked up here and then hooked. So everyone's made their way top other than Hanzo, who's on the camp. This game's still pretty even, other than the bottom fort going the way of Squad 9 Alpha. Middle still not taken. Phoenix had the opportunity to kill that earlier, but he backed up trying to get the DK, but other mistakes were made. Didn't happen. I feel like he should have just killed this fort. Both teams get the bruisers. Hanzo's running around acting like a Grey main. Nice sleep dart. I don't like that all these teams are top, but is what it is. Hanzo's going to get nice value out of bottom. I'm not sure they want to be fighting without the Hanzo. This is a 5v4. Soldier need to recognize this and just go for it. But they're splitting their damage and no one's dying, and a sick dragon arrow comes in as well. Grawl goes out. Scan? Oh, what happened to Scan? Was it cancelled? I am confused. It must have been cancelled. There's no way. I wasn't checking. I thought it was already used with Earthquake and Ring. That is either a major misplay or it got interrupted by something like Hammer or Urel or Sleep. Yikes. Yikes Areno for Zul'jin Distillery. Combos have to go off or they will not win these fights, either on a basic ability level or an alt level. Earthquake and Ring were good, but where was the salvo? I don't know. Could have been cancelled, could have been on CD for like the 10 seconds. Or cancelled, I meant interrupted. But really, when the Thrall died top, Phoenix died middle, that's when they really shot themselves in the foot for this match. We're still feeling the effects of that. They take a big fight top, but I don't know. I don't really like the bile on DeWitt either, on Phoenix. It just doesn't make sense. That's a nice massive shove on Cho'Gall. MJ Doom might go down here if he can get silence. I think he'll just outright die. Indeed he will. Cho'Gall's silence. Here comes the scan. He will stasis. Angle shot might die. He'll stasis himself. Everyone's stasising down. He'll go to a shotgun. Oh my god, the honest sleep is huge. Saul's trying to get into root. They gotta take down Zalons. Can they catch the Cho'Gall though? Probably not. That was a 2-for-3 trade though. Oh, they could get a hook though, honestly. Depending on cooldowns. Hook, 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 hook. No hook. He had hook. I'm not sure why I didn't throw it. That's alright. Follow-up's a little low. Cho'Gall actually might counter-kill his teammates. So I don't hate it. 16, they caught up a bit with some of these kills. Actually took the kill lead. Cho'Gall hasn't died yet this game, I don't think. No, they have not. So they prevented the push on their keep, though it was exposed. So this is still good for Squad 9 Alpha in the long run. Someone just needs to sneeze on this fort middle, essentially, for it to go down. Red needs to swarm the map right now. Maybe shove bottom middle, never mind top for now, other than Thrall. Again, I really don't like Jaina being alone. It should be Phoenix, who's doing solo things. This will give him some options, but it's also letting Squad 9 res, so we'll see. Especially in these rotations, something could happen. If they're not careful. They are... Oh, Cho'Gall's top. What face? They should be fighting. This is a mistake by Squad 9. They're going to get their bottom fort for this. For a just very low value play, and looks like Hanzo may just go down. Where's the silence? Don't know. Not available. Scan also not used. They just seem really reluctant to use these abilities. And then they use them on a Urel who souls out in Defender. Maybe nerves showing. They took the fort. Cho'Gall's here. Oh, nice damage on Cho'Gall, but that is the Molten. They're eating a lot of damage off this. Scan is out. Cho'Gall might just go down, but not yet. There's the silence on Cowboy Kyle. He's also fine with that hook. Lands on MJ. They can follow up properly. He should go down here. Indeed, he does, but Phoenix is dead. Cho'Gall is on the run. That should help save some lives. Angle shot will not get bombed. Hoggle the Great here. Still trying to make the plays. He jumps over. Townsend might pay for it with his life, but value. JK. They will clean up. This is the problem when they ripped Ring and I don't know what else on Yorel who soloed Arden. That was just a huge mistake. They don't have it for the actual fight that follows. Bit of either nerves or inexperience showing here for Soldier and Distillery. They've been pretty 50-50 this game. Like, just landing several combos in a row, picking up a bunch of kills, pressuring Squad 9, and then just fluffing a bunch of their combos or using them incorrectly, and then they just kind of auto-lose these fights. So, good patience by Squad 9. This will be keep for sure. DK is also available. They could try and look to end. We'll see what they do. I expect them to go bottom of this DK and pressure. If for some reason they feel unsafe, they can try and take middle. Okay, looks like they will. Zul'jin still have a shot at defending, but if they lose a hero or two, game's probably over. DeWitt is, I'm not sure what he's doing all the way over here. Oh, they're going for the wraparound, but where's the Jaina's not with them? This isn't going to work. This is a fine idea, but not without the Jaina. Now you're just giving up free core, or giving up your Jaina. Punts her right into the wall though, nice and safe. Cool idea, but where was the Jaina? So not quite on the same page. This is just going to be auto GG at this point. They've borked the defense. DK will just wail on the core, no matter what they do. Can't stop the DK at this stage of the game, and they let him walk up to your core. You already know based on her 20 talent, she went... I'm at the summary screen in a moment. Oh yeah, sleep. Purifying darts. Slows and roots. Makes sense from Jaina and Thrall, Stitches. There was a lot of slows and roots that game. I like the drafts. Well played by Squad 9, mostly well played by Zul'jin, but they shot themselves in the foot a few too many times. Squad 9 Alpha took advantage. Game over. That's pretty much the story of this game. Yeah, good stats. No, honestly, pretty even game, or well, mostly even game. But, let's hop over to some team talk. Caps. Oh, hey, Ogle.
Hey. Am I in the wrong channel?
I'm gonna go talk to, shit. I'm gonna go, oh my god, I don't know what he's doing anyway.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
Pretty cool
Hello.
game 3 from you guys. I like the combos. I think you somewhat coincidentally had a pretty good starting draft against Cho'Gall, and then once they picked their Cho'Gall, you could supplement, which you did with, I think, Stitches and Phoenix or something. Oh no, Phoenix had picked earlier. Stitches and what then? Jaina? Stitches, Jaina. So I think that was really strong. I think you had the right idea. It was basically just a lack of execution. Anytime you executed it, you were just either killing them or zoning them. And when you whiffed the combos or staggered them just too incorrectly, then you kind of auto-lost the fights. So well, that's the nature of combo-based drafts. You execute them well, you tend to stompy stomp, and when you fail them, you tend to losey lose. So it's just execution, really. Just some decision making. There were some abilities and ults used like waste too staggered or bottom at the wrong time. Maybe just like you tried to full combo Yorel who still had Iron Defender, and she's just like T and presses R and heals, and you wasted 2 or 3 ults in her. Something like that, right? So a little more decision making, and I think you take that game pretty convincingly. With a little more execution and a little more patience in some of these fights, or quicker fingers in other cases. There was some like delayed staggering, and maybe once or twice they interrupted you. Maybe I'm not sure what happened to big fight top on the Phoenix Salvo, if it got interrupted or not. I didn't see, but there's a decent amount of interrupts, so maybe it did.
Yeah, I think I got slept multiple times.
Yeah, there was Cho'Gall Hammer, Urel can interrupt, Sleep can interrupt. Yeah, the sleeps were pretty
16
annoying.
silence, yeah.
Yeah, the silence. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to interrupt that, so I can't hate that. It's just unfortunate. It's like there's a really nice ring and a really nice earthquake, and yikes, Salvo was canceled. But that's like, you can only play around so many abilities. It's like, you have to press the button and try, so not much you can do in that case. So that's just what it was, but again, I think you responded well to it. You did really well against the Cho'Gall for quite a while. They never died, but you killed their team a lot. You targeted the Ana a bunch. You zoned the Cho'Gall a lot. You stalled them from pushing a bunch. So I think it was strong. Like, just a little bit of a coin flip there on your execution. If that's polished up, I think you take the game. Or I don't know. I'm not saying you auto win the game, but it looks good. You're getting these Dragon Knights. You're getting the pushes, and then who knows what happens. Theoretically, you keep the momentum up. Of course, Cho'Gall is a very strong scaling hero, strongest in the game. So game gets harder as the game goes on, but you put yourselves in a better position. But it sort of snowballed. Like Thrall died top, trying to stall the point, but then Phoenix died middle, to probably a Hanzo shotgun arrow. I missed it.
Yeah, no,
and then that's sort of the moment where the game like really rolled against you. I think maybe you just ripped scan on him. You still had Salvo, and he was pretty low. So I like at a crucial moment like that, I think you just burn it, and maybe at a minute, like I think at least you trade kill, theoretically, or maybe even kill him with a sliver of health, like Jaina managed to do earlier. That was
right.
Hanzo jumped in her and she like comboed him and like one hit from dying. So close game, like the game was a lot closer than it looked. So maintain if like you play the game again with just a little more polish, then it looks way better. So. I'd say stay confident and be overall happy with like the plays. The idea was right, the execution was mostly right, just a little off. So
yeah, I think some of our big problems these last two games were just the targets we were picking to focus our damage on were not the right targets.
a little bit.
Yeah, we tried really hard to kill the Cho'Gall there when the squishy heroes were.
Well, at a point you sort of seemed to realize that, and then you started switching targets to the squishier ones.
Right.
But for pressuring the Cho'Gall isn't not a bad idea either. They didn't go upheaval, they didn't go whatever the AOE skill like. So hooking them wasn't like, oh hey, free initiation for the Cho'Gall. Like it forced out molten blocks and forced them surging fist away and stuff like that. And that's fine. But if you can hook someone like an Ana or a Hanzo, and you did, you had this hook onto Hanzo, and then you massive shoved him back into your keep wall.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
I
honestly didn't even. It happened so fast. I didn't even see who it was until they died and the kill feed came up. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. So, I'm trying to encourage you to be confident, basically. Not like, oh, we lost. What did we do wrong? Like, you have the skills, you have the idea, you have the draft. It's just a little more consistency, and it'll look even better. So, just wanted to encourage you in that regard.
Okay.
On the confidence level, because it's there. The idea is there. The skills there. Just a little more polish.
Yeah,
Cho'Gall's a hard hero to fight.
We'll see some. Some
it is a
score improvement there.
Yeah, Cho'Gall's hard to fight even when you have a good draft. Versus Cho'Gall, it's still a pain in the bum. So, yeah, Cho'Gall things. But GG, well played. I'm gonna go talk.
And I meant to take Gorge as well.
I was really surprised by the lack of Gorge. Okay, so just
I was like, oh, I'll take Gorge, and I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, I've done that several times over the years.
They look pretty similar on Stitches.
They do. They're both like green blobby things.
Yes.
No, you're not wrong. Okay, that makes sense. I think the game's also a fair amount easier if you can do that.
Yeah, I picked it, and I hooked him in and pressed R on him the first time.
Right.
And I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I mean, Bio's not bad. It has some control, some slow. It helps proc Phoenix.
Yeah.
So it's not like, wow, what a waste. It's just Gorge is a bit stronger because of Cho'Gall.
Right.
But
Especially on those when we were fighting on the point down there. We set a
Yeah.
gate up. Like I
Yeah.
could have shoved him behind the gate for sure.
Right. Sure. Yeah, no, the game's not unwinnable without Gorge. It's just a bit harder. So, next time. But we've all been there. Especially you hit 10, you're in a fight, you pick a skill, and they're like, whoops, I took the wrong one. We've all been there. It's HOTS things. No big deal.
Right.
But yeah, any last questions before I pop over? You can always, of course, follow up later. I'm just trying to,
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
GG, well played. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right,
Alright.
yeah. See you around.
Thanks.
See ya. Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hey, nice game, guys. Cho'Gall Power comes out.
Yep.
Yeah, I was a little distracted in the draft because I had to text my brother about some work stuff, and I saw this Anubrak ban. I'm like, why on earth are they banning Anubrak? And I was still texting, and then Cho'Gall pick, and I'm like, oh, of course, Much confused. It seems so random, but obviously it wasn't.
I thought it was random too, and then at that point in the draft, they informed me they were serious about Cho'Gall after I picked Hanzo to solo lane.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry.
Right.
Hanzo solo. Yep.
No, that's a losing matchup versus Phoenix, and you got killed once or twice. You got a counter kill. Probably not the most advisable to leave your Hanzo middle versus the Phoenix. He nearly just soloed the fort at a point, and they never finished it off. He could have sat there and killed it, but he backed off at a point. So Jaina, that was a weird moment where Jaina managed to combo you down. Feels bad.
Yeah, I missed that scatter arrow.
Well, I think part of it hit her, but not. I mean, it's
Well,
split-second stuff.
I mean, I'm literally standing there and she's standing there, and I can't shoot straight at the wall and hit her with most of it.
Right, and then the last blizzard tick got you.
Yep.
But still, you didn't play badly, but you mostly won because you capitalized on them making several notable mistakes in a row, which is fine. Plenty of HOTS games are won that way, but all things being even, you should probably put yourself in a little safer position and not just leave Hanzo versus Phoenix middle. He just shoving down your structures and everything. This is fine if, say, top lane is crushing or bottom lane is crushing, but top lane's mostly stalled, though Yrel keeps control of the point. But other than that, nothing really happens. And bottom lane was consistently against you, right? So I guess what else are you gonna do with the Hanzo Yrel?
What do you think about a Hanzo Yrel rotating between mid and bot and put the 3-man top?
Not the best in Dragonshire. I would recommend that on some other maps.
Okay.
But Dragonshire specifically is kind of just meh top lane, so I wouldn't advise. But maybe you at a point you have Yrel try and double soak or something, and that way Hanzo can just stay bottom and help pressure. It means Thrall would probably grab top shrine on and off, but with Hanzo bottom, things probably look really strong for you there on the point. Basically, they just screwed up their combos. Anytime they landed their combos, you were just obliterated. And when they staggered them, or Aura had some really sick sleep darts, I think she canceled the Phoenix salvo top, which didn't land with Ring and Earthquake. And if it lands, I think that fight goes pretty differently. So, really nice interrupt, intentional or not.
Yeah, I canceled one or two Phoenix ults too, and I took whatever Elder Peacekeeper specifically for that. Pretty much that and the Jaina. I know I Peacekeepered at least one of his ults.
Yeah, no, I noticed several interrupts, so that was a really big deal. They also misclicked Bile. They meant to take Gorge. Feels bad.
Yeah, we were wondering about that.
For sure he hooked the Cho'Gall on point just as they hit 10, and he just clicked the wrong one by accident. So he was trying to hook Gorge
I've done that
away.
before.
Yeah, no, we all have. I told him everyone does that every now and then. Even pro players occasionally.
Because it made no sense to take Stitches and then go Bile against Cho'Gall.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we saw how destructive even their basic ability combos are, they, right? Hook, Silence, Blizzard, or later they massive shoved someone. They had a pretty scary squad. You played pretty well around it, were pressured, they screwed up, you capitalized, you won. So I think you can adjust a little bit earlier to not let the Phoenix just like shove down middle. It ended up not mattering, but had they not like died Thrall top and then Phoenix middle right away, then you get a DK. You know, if the game just keeps stalling as it is, they're going to win, right? Because they were winning middle and they were winning bottom essentially. They were stomping middle and had the edge
back,
bottom
sorry.
consistently, and you just were stalling top, and that's not really, you know what I mean. And then if
Yeah, I was
you're-
saying while you were talking with them, I was saying how I was surprised they didn't rotate Phoenix up to push me out earlier. I really think they should have. Like, they probably wouldn't have killed me, but they easily could have taken the point and forced us into trying to do something to counter it.
Sure. No, I think that was fine. They probably could have, considering the amount of pressure Phoenix was putting on middle. Leaving him middle to push, I think attacking the fort was probably too greedy, but killing like the towers and the well was definitely the right call. But after that, anytime he zoned the Hanzo, he could have run up to help against the match.
Like when they got the kills on the Hanzo, like
I think they did once they did though, but they were just really slow about it. Like they ran up, and then Phoenix.
Yeah, there was one time I called his rotation. I was like, now Phoenix is gonna rotate to me.
But they were like really slow, and I remember clicking the camera bottom and click back top, and they still were like not 2v1ing you. They were just sitting around the lane. I was like, what's going on? So I'm not really sure what happened there. I'd have to go back and watch why they were like they rotated the Phoenix up, but they could have already been 2v1ing you, and then like 10-15 seconds later they still weren't. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're sitting in the bushes. I don't know. I was watching bottom, so a little weirdness. But yeah, so ideally, yeah, put yourself in a slightly stronger position and not just hope the enemy screws up, and that's how you like really get a foot back in the game. Of course, Cho'Gall's strongest scaling duo, well, heroes in the game. So even if you're pressured, you lose some forwards, blah blah blah. Game goes to 20. You're still feeling pretty good about the game because Cho'Gall things. But nonetheless, you'd rather not be on the back foot if possible.
Yeah.
But still very well played in general.
I can't believe they gave us our quests at like 6 minutes in though. Dang.
I mean, even my sleep quest I completed, and
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you can only they were staying close together, but the nature of Stitches, Jaina, Stukov is they have to stay close together. Otherwise,
are you still streaming?
Yeah. Otherwise, they won't be able to finish. They won't be able to do what they need to do, which is hook, blizzard, silence. Right? If you're even one step out of position, it's not going to work. So you're forced to cluster decently close. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't try and dodge some abilities, but like it was fine. They were doing fine. They had the kill advantage, the pressure advantage. Obviously, if you can delay enemy quests, the longer the better, by all means. The double sleep dart did definitely show, like, middle top. They started getting some really nasty sleeps in. When
later in the game, both teams made some very aggressive plays that I question.
Yeah, I'd say so. There was some chasing here and there, and I don't know, at one point Cho'Gall was all the way top pushing fort, which I think was weird and unnecessary and wrong. Because they could have attacked you bottom way sooner, but they just sort of stalled. Again, like, a lot of your successes were predicated on them screwing up this match, which is fine. Again, plenty of HOTS games are won that way. In a sense, all of them are, but realistically, you didn't really have any openings. You were just capitalizing on their mistakes, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not that it's like it's a skill to be able to do that, because there's teams who fail to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes, and then they don't win the game, or they don't get ahead, or they don't come back, and all this stuff. So it's a necessary HOTS talent to have as a squad, 100%. But ideally, that's not all that's like your momentum is in the game. So of course, at a point, you snowballed it way the other way, and then you just DK, fort, keep, push. Game's over. So, again, I'm not calling you out. Like, I've seen so many teams, even at higher divs, fumble their opportunities, right? Like, consistently. So, the fact that you consistently capitalize on your opportunities is a really big deal. So, I'm happy to see that. But yeah, you can make it a little cleaner through some different lane matchups, some different moves, stuff like that.
Just out of curiosity, the fight bottom near the end, where was it Doom ended up standing in a blizzard? What you think of that? After we pushed the fort, and then Cho'Gall came back and stuff.
The key
Yeah.
push or the fort push? Because he took the fort pretty early, I think.
I think it was
We took the fort
after they
top,
took our bottom
and then
fort.
we came back bottom to fight
Oh
them.
yeah, that. Right. Okay. Right, bottom on your side. Well, he got like ringed and all kinds of things, and then he just Ardent Defendered and was fine. So what do you mean exactly?
I was just curious what you thought of that fight.
The whole time I'm yelling at them because I have to keep diving into the other team to try to save their butts, and they just keep going.
I mean, Urel can tank a lot of damage, and if they want to focus Urel, I'd say it's a win for you. I mean, they killed her a few times, but it took them so long to do it, which is what usually happens when you're trying to kill a Urel, that it's like fine.
I was just curious if that was risky, because we like sacrificed Doom to start getting kills.
I mean, it is, but like, you know, they dove past the fort and went on Doom, and they ripped Ring and maybe something else, and you just Ardent Defendered. Then you turn the fight around. I think Doom died later, but they were out of gas, right? And then you just ran at them and got like 3-4 kills. So if they had saved Ring and maybe some other stuff, maybe the fight goes differently, but they didn't, which means it's go time for you guys.
I recall some interesting old choices. Bile and Massive Shove.
Yeah, he said
Shove was a good. Shove was actually the right
Shove
choice.
was super legit.
Yeah,
But I didn't
Shove
expect it. I mean, I definitely didn't expect it because you don't see it often. But then Bile was interesting because he didn't have Gorge.
Bile was a misclick.
Oh, I was gonna say that was weird.
Yeah, they know it. I don't think the game's unwinnable by any stretch because it just makes their lives harder and your lives easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, massive shove you always take against Cho'Gall, in my opinion.
It makes sense. I just like never really thought about
He
it.
had 2 or 3 pretty. He missed like 1 or 2, but he landed 2 or 3 good ones and like shoved the Cho'Gall back a ways.
Yeah,
Stalled
they had
out
one.
the push and stuff.
They had one really interesting, like good play. It was like the Stitches hook, and then he massive shoved him like into their gate.
Yeah,
and I was like,
the
"Oh!"
No, I went ooh as well. I was like, "Whoa!" on the couch. It was cool. No,
He massive shoved me mid agility out too, which was extremely annoying.
No,
It's painful. It's painful to watch.
I mean, his Stukov game 1 was like MVP easily, so they've got a really mean Stukov player, no doubt.
Oh boy.
I did get to punish him that one time for going for that aggressive silence, and I turned and dove on him and killed him.
Yeah,
That felt good.
Yeah. No, there was some scrappy fights, for sure. It was a fun series. The game game 3 was a lot closer than it seemed, honestly, overall.
In my defense, I've been trying to get away from picking Stukov, or else I would have been a good Stukov as well. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, I just need to learn to play more things.
I mean, they banned your Deckard, right? Like,
oh yeah.
so you can
They
feel
didn't like
good.
that.
You can feel good tonight. You put on a show.
I actually figured they'd ban the garage. Darn. So I didn't do it well enough.
I mean,
I just figure
it was
if they scouted us, they probably just didn't expect to see it.
I mean, it's easier in a sense to do all the garage than a Deckard, because Deckard can set up the entire team easier from range, whereas Garrosh is much shorter range. He's still a super high threat, but he's a shorter ranged high threat. Whereas Deckard can just sit a screen away and go, haha, seal and root and sleep and blizzard.
So
tornado
I
and
heard
whatever.
you like triangles.
Yeah. It's pesky. Garrosh tends to threaten one hero, whereas Deckard typically threatens like your whole team to delta split, for example.
Well, I mean, it was annoying because the Johanna and the Leo were super slippery, and every time I was like, "Oh, not again," you know. But if I caught the Lucio or the other guy,
Gul'dan.
Can't remember who else. Yeah, Gul'dan. Then it was really good. But or after they blew their escapes, you know.
No, it was good. Again, game 2 was they put up a decent fight, but of course you had a giant advantage. Game 3 was the most competitive of the evening. It was fun. It was fun. Good series. Like you guys could probably be reliable scrim partners if you wanted. You took the 2-1, but with a little more polished play, I think they take. I don't know. They don't auto win game 3, but they keep pressuring you, and who knows what happens with the game at that point. So, of course, it's up for you to decide if you want to play each other more. But I liked what I saw from both teams. It was a lot of fun.
I think we've always been pretty chill with Zul'jin, so hit us up, guys.
Booyah.
Just out of curiosity, you think Hammer was the choice there, or would it have been better to go Upheaval?
Hammer, you had no follow-up for Upheaval.
Okay.
Any good follow-up. Everyone has follow-up. You just press your buttons, but they weren't great buttons.
Hey,
nothing
it's
really
getting late, guys.
scary.
I'm gonna dip.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Hammer was the
Talk
choice
to you later.
personally. So
All right. Good night, guys.
good night, GG's.
Have a good night, Ori.
Yeah, any other we're still on stream, so any other questions or whatever before I cut the video?
Not that I can think of.
So
Well,
Alright.
so what would you if you do Cho'Gall again? How would you draft it differently?
Do you want this to be on stream? Or you don't care?
Maybe not.
That's what I was thinking. So,
Probably not.
yeah, exactly. So this is for all intents and purposes, this is game questions. I have that
Yeah,
channel.
anyone can watch
Anyone,
this.
yeah. So let me be
Fair
right
enough.
back.
All
Let
right.
me, BRB, and I'll answer your question. Alrighty, Squad 9 Alpha, Zul'jin Distillery, awesome series tonight. 2-1 to Squad 9 Alpha. Whoops, what am I? Oh, I'm on Team Talk. All right. But yeah, good stuff from both teams. Solid games, a lot of fun. They should have enough material to review, etc., etc. But I'm gonna sign off. So thanks for watching, hanging out. Which I think was mostly the teams themselves. Veteran Wings showed up. So good night, have fun. I'm not casting again this week. I already have a couple casts lined up for next week. Next Wednesday, Thursday. Casting a heroic game Wednesday and a Division D game Thursday. Good night, Mr. Wings. I will talk to you soon.